A mob of villagers, clutching torches and pitchforks, chased a small, blonde-haired boy. Shouts of "die, demon" and other hateful slurs filled the air. The boy, his tan skin marred with bruises and cuts, ran as fast as his 5-year-old legs could carry him. He couldn't outrun them forever, and eventually, the mob caught him, brutally beating him. The boy's birthday, October 10th, was also the day of the Kuwabai festival, or as some villagers called it, the fox hunt. While the boy endured daily abuse, his birthday was always the worst. As the Jinchuriki of the Kuwabai, the villagers saw him as the demon fox itself in human form. He was the son of the 4th Hokage and the red-hot-blooded habanero, yet his parents treated him no better than the villagers did. Unaware that their son was being beaten, they celebrated his sister's 5th birthday at the festival. After the brutal beating, the boy had had enough. He hated the village, his sister, and especially his parents for never believing him about the villagers' harassment. Limping, he made his way to a deserted park, clutching a kunao he'd found. "If nobody wants me, I'll grant their wish," he said aloud. He raised the kunao to stab himself in the neck, but a girl stopped him. Shocked, she couldn't believe a boy so young was trying to kill himself. "What are you doing? Why do you want to die?" she asked. The boy looked at her in shock, not expecting anyone to be there. "The village wants me dead. Don't stop me, just leave me alone," he replied. "I'm new here, so I don't understand why they hate you. You look like a sweet boy. Can you please tell me?" she pleaded. The girl, no older than 9, genuinely seemed to care. He looked at her and started to cry. She held him, a warmth he'd never felt before enveloping him. He told her about his family and the villagers, explaining that he didn't know why he was called a demon while his sister was seen as a hero. He recounted how his requests to be trained alongside his sister were always denied and how he was always locked out and left out. When he finished, the girl was in tears. She couldn't believe such a sweet boy had endured so much. Seeing her cry for him, he cried even harder. "She's crying for me. No one has ever done that," he thought. "Do you want to be friends?" he asked, then his face fell when she shook her head. His spirits lifted, however, when she responded, "No, we won't be friends. We'll be family. My name is Miley, what's yours?" "My name is Naruto Namikaze," he replied. "Namikaze? As in Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage? You're his son?" she asked. He nodded. She was beyond shocked that the Hokage would neglect his own son for his daughter and that the villagers would treat him so horribly. Naruto had to do a lot of persuading to keep her from confronting the village. "Since they barely notice you're gone, why not come to my place? I'll leave a shadow clone at your house disguised as you and keep its chakra low to avoid suspicion." She noticed him fidgeting as if he wanted to ask something. "You can ask me anything. I'm your older sister now, aren't I?" she said. Smiling brightly, he asked, "Can I call you Neichan instead of Miley? And will you train me? Are you really strong?" "Bro, where I come from, I'm considered the strongest, and of course, I'll train you. Now let's go home," she said. He looked at her in confusion. "My home is your home now, remember?" He nodded. She created a shadow clone, which transformed into him and headed back to his house. Miley and the real Naruto then used a body flicker to get to her house, and what he saw was overwhelming for a 5-year-old. In front of him was a beautiful mansion. As they entered, maids and butlers greeted them. Some noticed his bruises and cuts and asked Miley if they should clean him up. She refused, saying she would do it herself, but asked for a bath to be prepared and a new set of clothes. He didn't say a word, still processing the fact that his new sister was incredibly rich. "Surprised? Don't be. Like I said, this is your house too, okay?" she said. He simply nodded, still in shock. She gathered the staff. "Listen up. This is Naruto, my new younger brother. I want you all to show him respect," she instructed. They all nodded in understanding and left. A maid informed her that her father was away for a week. Miley nodded and turned her attention to Naruto. "Come on, I need to clean and heal you properly. What I did at the park wasn't enough," she said, picking him up and carrying him to a room. He was in awe of the size of the room but wasn't as shocked as before, having deduced that everything in the house was massive. As she cleaned his wounds, he finally decided to ask, "Neichan, can you tell me more about yourself? Everyone here looks at you with so much respect, and they seem so kind." Naruto was an intelligent boy, but no one had ever noticed. She laughed and asked, "Well, what do you want to know?" "Why were you at the village if you don't live there?" he asked. "I guess I should tell you everything, then," she said. "Have you ever heard of the League of Assassins?" He shook his head. "Well, it's a group of warriors who assassinate people that the world would be better off without. My father, Ra's al Ghul, is the leader. As his daughter, I'm the heiress to the demon. The 5 great nations fear the League because they know they can't defeat it alone. When I was 3, my mother, Serena Sheen, died from a terrible disease. Her last wish was for me to live a normal life in the Hidden Leaf Village. My grandfather, and you have to promise not to tell a soul, is the 3rd Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi." "I promise I won't tell anyone," Naruto exclaimed. "He pulled some strings to get me in. I lived in the village for about a year. My grandfather was so kind, and I met the rest of my family. My father, who hated the shinobi way of life, left the village and was declared a missing nin. He was exiled from the clan but didn't care and started the league. Everything was great until the nine-tailed fox attacked. To save the village, the Hokage sacrificed himself to seal the fox into a child I don't know who. Since the village was unstable, my father brought me back, and I started training to get stronger. I blamed myself for not saving my grandfather. And that's my story, she finished, looking at the boy she had just healed. I'm so sorry for your losses. Your mom and granddad sounded like nice people. But why are you returning now, he asked. I've never really left. I'm still allowed in the village. I guess I wanted to get stronger on my own. The academy doesn't teach anything useful, and you'll be going in 4 years, right? Yeah, that's when my so-called parents said I'd start training, but you're going to help me now, right? Of course. These 4 years will be filled with hellish training, but also relaxing baths and delicious meals. Our chef cooks the best food ever, they both giggled. A maid knocked on the door, telling Miley the bath was ready and handing her Naruto's new clothes. Come on, our bath is ready, she said. He looked at her, embarrassed. She understood. Don't worry, we're siblings and still young. If you're not comfortable, that's okay. He shook his head no. They took a bath, put on their new clothes, and went to sleep in her bed. For the first time in his life, Naruto felt safe, at peace, and loved. The next day, Naruto woke up and looked around. He wasn't in his dark, cold room but in a large, luxurious room on a king-size bed. The memories of the previous night rushed back to him. I have a sister, someone who actually cares, he thought. He looked to his right, but she wasn't there. Where did she go? Calm down, Kit. She whispered to you that she'd be back, a voice said. He looked around the room, finding no one. Who was that? He then found himself in a sewer-like place with a giant cage. Well, what do we have here? My jailer decided to honor me with his presence, the voice said. He looked inside the cage and stammered, Kekuabai. What are you doing here? He then remembered Miley's story about the third Hokage sealing the fox into a child. He understood everything. He knew why the villagers hated him and called him a demon. They thought he was the Kuwabai. I guess you're not dumb, Kit. Sorry you had to go through all that. I'm glad that girl stopped you yesterday. If you die, I die, you know? But you didn't know that. Naruto looked at the fox in shock. Can I ask why you attacked the village? You don't seem like a bad fox. Ha ha ha, you're really something else, aren't you? Some blasted Uchiha controlled me. It wasn't my fault. Oh man, I just remembered. The third Hokage died because of you. What am I gonna tell Miley? She'll probably hate me and… Stop it, Kit. The girl is kind and was telling the truth. Tell her, she'll understand. Now go back, some human is trying to get your attention. He came out of his mindscape and saw a maid approaching. You're awake. That's great. I put your new clothes, a towel, and a toothbrush beside you. Is there anything you would like for breakfast? She asked. Can I have some ramen, please? He asked. Of course, I'll tell the chef immediately. As she was about to leave, he stopped her. Do you know where Miley went? My lady went out this morning but said she'd be back in time for breakfast. It's almost 8 a.m., so she should be arriving once you come downstairs, she replied. Is there anything else I can help you with, my lord? No, but please just call me Naruto, he said, embarrassed. The maid giggled as she walked out. You are just like my lady, Naruto-sama. He brushed his teeth, took a bath, and headed downstairs. As he was on his way, Miley came in, and he was astonished. He was too tired to look at her properly the night before, but now he saw her beautiful chocolate brown hair that reached her ankles. Her flawless skin and dark brown eyes, one of which was partially covered by her bangs, were captivating. When she smiled, she showed her perfect white teeth. Who knew I was going to kill myself but then end up with such a beautiful sister, he thought. She saw he wasn't moving and pulled him to the dining hall. At the Namikaze household, life went on as usual. In the backyard, Kushina Namikaze, a red-headed woman, cheered on her daughter, Naruko, who was a miniature version of her. Naruko, at age 5, was already training to keep her brother in check in case he ever went berserk. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, sat proudly watching his daughter. He was proud of her strength at such a young age. As they went about their lives as a perfect family, they all forgot about their son/brother, who was denied training and told his sister needed it more. Miley's shadow clone, disguised as Naruto, observed what was happening. Hey, Tou-san, the clone said. Yes, Naruto, his father replied. His mother and sister stopped to listen. Can I please train with my sister? Just a little? I promise not to get in the way. Naruto, I told you, later. All our attention is needed on your sister. You'll get to train when you start the academy, Minato said. But why does she need it more than me? And why do the villagers always beat me and want me dead? The clone asked sadly. There was a moment of silence, then Kushina slapped him. She looked angry. I told you over and over, don't lie to us. Now go outside, or I'll send you to your room, she yelled. Naruto, don't lie about the villagers. We didn't teach you to lie, did we? His father added sternly. The clone couldn't believe what was happening. It ran out of the compound and poofed away. Do you think we were too harsh on him? I shouldn't have slapped him, but he lies all the time about the villagers, and they are such nice people, Kushina said. Don't worry, Kaa-san, he's just jealous that I'm seen as a hero and not him, Naruto said. As much as she wanted to be a brat, she still cared for her brother but wondered why he would lie about the villagers, who gave her so many presents on her birthday. Anyway, let's get back to training. At the mansion, the clone's memories flooded back to Miley, and she was shocked. They would do that to such a sweet boy? And they're defending the villagers? These people have another thing coming, and it won't be pretty. Now at the dining hall, she smiled at her new brother, who looked more cheerful but still had a worried expression. What's wrong, bro? Remember, you can tell me anything. No secrets between us, she said. He smiled. He didn't want to lose her but wanted her to like him even as a Jinchuriki. Taking a deep breath, he told her about his morning and his encounter with the Kyuubi. He braced himself for a look of disgust, but she showed a face of realization. That makes a lot of sense. They think you're the fox itself in human form, but that's pure idiocy. You and the fox are two different people. Why didn't you want to cut her off with a hug and sobs? I thought you would hate me just like everyone else. I thought you would blame me for your grandfather's death. I'm sorry, he sobbed. Shh, it's okay. I won't hate you, I promise. It wasn't your fault, you were a newborn. I should be the one saying sorry, she said, wiping his tears away. My grandfather put the fox in you, which is why you had that horrid life. I'm truly sorry. No, we didn't do anything. Let's just drop it, okay? Besides, he told me that an Uchiha was controlling him, he said. You mean the Kyuubi? Wait, you talked to him? Yeah, he seemed really nice. Say, after breakfast, can we start our training? Of course. By the way, my clone just poofed away and I got its memories. Why don't your parents believe you when you say the villagers want you dead? What kind of parents are they? Forget about them. Maida the Hokage and his family can do whatever they want. I always wanted their acceptance, but now that I have you, I don't care. He had had enough and was content with what he had. As they finished their meal, a maid tripped, and the dishes and she were about to hit the ground but stopped mid-air. Naruto looked around in confusion until the maid thanked Miley. He saw her hand raised as she gently placed the maid and dishes down. Thank you, my lady. I'm sorry for causing a scene, the maid said in a foreign language. It's alright, just be more careful next time, Miley replied in the same language. Naruto looked at her, confused by the power and the language. She smiled at him. She was going to teach him so much that other shinobi would envy him. What did you guys say, and what was that power? He asked. I've never seen anything like it. I guess I should tell you about my mother's Kekii Genkai. I'm more like my mother than my father, meaning I inherited her clan's demon powers. Her clan was slaughtered, but my father saved her. That's how they met and fell in love. Anyway, they were killed because they had the strongest powers. When I say they can transform into demons, I mean humanoid demons. My mother's demon blood runs through me. I can't transform yet, but I've unlocked most of my powers. One of them is what you just saw, telekinesis. I can also fly and am immune to poison. I actually gain power from it. I do missions for the League, and because of my powers and my attitude in battle, I became known as the She-Devil. I also specialize in swordsmanship. Both my parents are known as the best in that field. It's what makes people fear my father. After my mother died, I took her sword and discovered something special about it. It doesn't kill people at all, she said. He looked at her as if she were crazy, and she giggled. Yeah, I had the same expression. My dad told me my mother had a soft heart and didn't want to harm people. So, if a person is stabbed with it, they go into a state of suspended animation. He shook his head. It's a state where they're alive but won't wake up. Like a coma, he asked. Something like that. But during that time, they're in unbelievable pain and torture. They can only wake up when the sword touches their body again. To prevent them from fighting again, they're immobilized for about an hour. This is my mother's sword, the green dragon blade, and with my father's sword, the black shadow, they are the most legendary swords in existence. She summoned the sword, which had dragon carvings in green and silver. After her long explanation, Naruto was in awe. He already admired her, but now he respected her even more. I have the coolest sister ever, he thought. You sure do, Kit. If you want, I could also help with your training. I don't like those villagers one bit, thinking that I'm a brat human. How pathetic. Hey, Kyu, what's your real name? I don't think Nine-Tailed Fox is your real name, Naruto thought. You're a bright boy, brat. It's Kurama. Hey, tell your sis to come into your mindscape. We should both teach you to get strong. Hey, Nei-chan, Kurama wants to meet you. He said to come into my mindscape. Can you do that? Naruto asked. Who's Kurama? The Kyuubi. Sure, why not? With that, they were inside his mindscape. She looked up and saw the giant cage. Inside was the nine-tailed fox. Hey there, little girl. You're quite kind for a human. I didn't know such humans existed. Ha ha ha. Anyway, sorry for your loss. You're going to train this kit, right? I'll help, too. It's better than doing nothing all day. You're not so bad, Kurama. And yes, you can help with his training, she said. She turned to Naruto. Naruto, we're going to make you the most envied and respected shinobi they've ever seen. But first, why do you want to train and get stronger? She expected him to think about it, but he gave an immediate, cold response. I want revenge. Revenge against every villager that hurt me and against my family who ignored me. I want them to regret what they did and regret ever neglecting me. Kit, you sure? I'm with you all the way, just don't change your mind later on, Kurama said. Okay then, let's get your training started, Miley said. 3 years later. 8-year-old Naruto Namikaze walked through the streets of Konoha, with his older sister, Miley, at his side. No one dared to approach them. Miley was known as the village's strongest shinobi. Over the past 3 years, she'd single-handedly defeated every jonin after they'd insulted her as just a little girl. She'd become a jonin herself at the unheard-of age of 9, the youngest ever. The few who knew of her true power believed she could even defeat the Hokage himself, a fact she kept secret to avoid humiliating him. Respected by villagers and shinobi alike for her ability to complete S-rank missions in a week or 2 missions that normally took half a year, Miley's intelligence reports were always spot on. The Hokage eventually decided to give all intelligence missions to her exclusively. At first, people had criticized Miley for associating with Naruto, calling her a demon lover. But as word spread that her father was Ra's al Ghul, the most ruthless and feared criminal in the world, the comments stopped. They knew better than to risk her wrath. Naruto had flourished under his sister's care. He quickly became a skilled young shinobi, learning everything fast and demonstrating a high level of comprehension. He mastered every ninja art and even learned to harness Kurama's power. He was taught 10 different languages, including the secret language of the League of Assassins, and could speak, read, and write in all of them fluently. The maids and butlers at the mansion were all members of the League, and they taught him their highly intellectual form of medical ninjutsu while Miley was on missions. Naruto realized this unique medical jutsu could save many shinobi lives. He met Ra's al Ghul a month after moving in, and the two instantly connected. Naruto discovered that Ra's wasn't the monster people said he was. The two filled a void in each other's lives. Naruto found the father he always needed, and Ra's gained the son he never had. Ra's personally taught him Kenjutsu, and Naruto's 6th birthday became a day he would never forget. Flashback. Naruto's 6th birthday party had been all but forgotten by his biological family. It was Naruto's party again, but this time, he didn't care. His father, Minato, gathered everyone's attention and announced, "Thank you for coming to our lovely daughter's party. I want to make an announcement. We are going to make her the heiress of both the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans." Cheers and gifts for Naruto followed. When Jiraiya let her sign the toad summoning contract, Naruto finally had enough. He slammed the door behind him and ran outside. He saw Miley looking for him down the street. He sprinted into her arms and began to cry, sobbing out what had happened. Miley was furious. Hadn't they done enough to him? She wanted to confront them, but then remembered why she was looking for him in the first place. She shoes-hined him to his room, where she wiped away his tears and told him they had somewhere important to go. Anywhere was better than there, so Naruto agreed. She put a suit on him, fixed his hair, and they shoes-hined to the mansion. Naruto noticed it was decorated, and his sister was dressed up in a beautiful midnight blue dress. When he opened the door, everyone yelled, "Surprise! Happy birthday, Naruto!" He was stunned. He'd never had his own birthday party. A huge grin spread across his face, followed by tears of pure joy. The entire mansion was filled with balloons, streamers, and a banner that read, "Happy Birthday, Naruto." The guests were all members of the League, along with famous actors and actresses. The buffet was filled with all his favorite foods, and the chef had even made new recipes just for him. "Come on, let's have some fun. I hope you like it, bro," Miley said. "Like it? Nei-chan, I love it. Thank you all so much," Naruto replied. "Let's wait for my dad to get here before we open presents. He said he needed more time to finish yours." "I'm so excited, aren't you?" Naruto nodded eagerly, and the party began. There was dancing, games, and pure fun. An hour later, Ra's al Ghul walked in, and everyone bowed respectfully. He hugged Naruto, wished him a happy birthday, and apologized for his lateness. He told Naruto to close his eyes, and when he opened them, there was a magnificently crafted sword. A fox was carved on the handle, inlaid with the rarest gems in the world. The blade's edge was made of pure diamond, just like Ra's al Ghul's own sword. I hope you like your sword. I could have sworn I had enough time to finish it, but at least Ra's was cut off by a tight hug from Naruto. Thank you. I love it so much. It's beautiful. Nei-chan, look, isn't it great? He asked his sister. Yes, it is, Miley said with a smile, happy to see him so joyful. You're lucky he made you one. He's too stingy to make them for anyone else. Now it's my turn, she said, glaring at her father who put on a mock-hurt expression. She pulled out a summoning scroll. This contract belonged to our mother. It's a dragon summoning contract. They don't just let anyone sign it, you have to be worthy. I asked them to observe you while we trained, and they agreed to accept you. They saw the determination in your eyes and your will to never give up. It's up to you if you want to sign it, though. Naruto's eyes were filled with stars. He'd only heard the words summoning, dragons, and powerful. He signed the contract immediately, thrilled beyond words. He may have hated the beginning of his birthday, but he loved how it ended. End of flashback. Naruto's relationship with his biological family never improved, but he didn't care. He had his own family now. He still lived with them but planned to move in with Miley once he became a genin. In the meantime, he had made friends with the Nara and Akimichi clan heirs, and he'd saved the Hyuga heiress from bullies, earning her friendship and their secret mutual crush. Hinata, like Naruto, was seen as an unfit heir, but her title hadn't been taken away. Miley had taken it upon herself to help Hinata gain confidence and trained her as much as she could, despite not knowing the Hyuga clan's secret jutsus. Miley and Naruto also became friends with Hanabi, Hinata's younger sister, who adored Miley. The three of them, along with Shikamaru and Koji, were the only ones who didn't fear Naruto as a demon and knew his true strength. Naruto planned to keep his power a secret until the Chunin exams. Miley, being the she-devil she was, often took them on fun outings to make the other village children jealous. Naruto and Miley were on their way to the stores. Since Naruto was starting the academy in a few days, Miley wanted to buy him new clothes. She had him try on many outfits until she found the perfect one, an Umbu-style black t-shirt with an open white shirt, black pants, fingerless gloves, and normal shinobi sandals. As they left, Hanabi tackled Miley to the ground. Miley loved the little girl and hugged her back. Behind Hanabi were Hinata and her mother, who apologized for her daughter's behavior. It's alright, Lady Hyuga. She's just taking advantage of the fact that I love her to bits, Miley said. Lady Hyuga was one of the few villagers Miley respected, as she was kind to Naruto and didn't see him as a demon. Hello Miley, and hello and Naruto-kun, Hinata said, blushing. Naruto blushed back. The others giggled at their obvious mutual attraction. We were doing some last-minute shopping for the academy, Miley said. How about you? We were doing the same, but for Hinata, Hanabi whined. I can't go yet because I'm too small. Don't worry, Hanabi, Naruto said. You'll start soon and you'll be the strongest in your class, right? Come on, we have to hurry before it gets dark, Lady Hyuga said, and they parted ways. I'll take the clothes back to my place, Miley said. You'd better get home, brother. See you tomorrow, okay? She hated sending him back to that house but knew he had to keep up appearances. Okay, Nei-chan. Love you. She bent down, kissed his forehead, hugged him, and said, love you too, brother. When Naruto reached home, his family was already eating without him, which was normal. Since he had already eaten, he started to go upstairs, but Minato stopped him. Naruto, come here and eat with us. I already ate outside, he said, and continued on his way. His family had been trying to get closer to him ever since Naruto had confessed she knew nothing about him. Minato and Kushina had realized they'd neglected him out of fear that he would go berserk, and they'd been trying to make up for it. Naruto, no longer a brat, was determined to get her brother back. They were all disappointed when Naruto shot them down. After dinner, Naruto said, Dad, if we let him train with us, do you think he would accept? He always wanted to. That's true. Minato, we have to try. He would love to train with us. He always asked, but we would say no, Kushina said sadly. Alright, let's call him, Minato said. They heard him leave the bathroom and called him down. Naruto, come down for a bit. We have something important to tell you, Kushina said, full of hope. He came down and sat with a cold stare. Naruto, we've decided to train you along with your sister, Minato said. Yeah, Nii-san. Isn't that great? You always wanted us to train you. Let's be the strongest in the academy together. Naruto said. Their hopes were shattered when he replied, I'm sorry, Lord Hokage and Lady Namikaze, but the academy starts in a couple of days. You don't have to worry about me. Your family doesn't need extra baggage to pull it down. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to sleep. He started to leave, but Naruto spoke up. Nii-san, what are you talking about? You're a part of. He cut her off with a glare, his eyes cold and lifeless. Don't kid yourself, daughter of the Hokage. I was never a part of your so-called family. Stop deluding yourself. He then added as he walked up the stairs, "It's funny, I never really thought of myself as part of this family." He left his family in tears, all thinking the same thing, what have we done? But they all had the same resolve, I'm going to get my son/brother back. A couple of days later, Naruto woke up with a start, a voice yelling at him to get up. The hell, Kyubi? It's only 6:30 in the morning. The academy doesn't start until 8. Listen, Kit, if you don't wake up now, the others will try to talk to you again. It's getting really annoying, even for me. It was true. Since that day, they hadn't stopped bothering him, and Kurama had to hold him back from snapping. They had also wondered who he was with, and the Hokage research had shown he was always with Miley. But when Minato asked her about it, she just glared at him, told him not to interfere with her personal life, and left. Naruto got dressed and went downstairs to make breakfast. Over the years, he'd bonded with the chef and learned how to cook. He ate and left the leftovers covered on the counter. He was leaving the compound just as Kushina woke up. She had wanted to make a special breakfast for her children, who were starting the academy today. "Naruto, where are you going?" she called out. "I'm going to make breakfast. I already ate," he said, and then the door slammed. She sighed, feeling their relationship was becoming more distant than ever. "Kushina, what was that noise?" Minato asked as he came downstairs with Naruto. "It was Naruto," she said. "He already left, saying he ate. I wonder how, though." Then, a scream came from the kitchen. They rushed in and saw Naruto hungrily eating from a plate of food. "Naruto, what are you eating?" "I didn't leave any food on the counter," Kushina said. "Mom, if you didn't make this, who did? It's the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. Come on, try it," she said, shoving a spoonful into their mouths. Their eyes widened, it truly was the most delicious thing they'd ever eaten. Who made it, they wondered, then realized it must have been Naruto. "Mom, did you teach Nii-san how to cook?" Naruto asked. Kushina shook her head no. "I think you should get ready, Naruto," Minato said. "Since he'll be there, we can ask him." Meanwhile, Naruto had arrived at Miley's apartment and went to her room. He saw her still asleep. It was a well-known fact that you never woke Miley up, but it was getting late. "Kit, are you sure? Don't you remember what happened last time?" Kurama said, as images of a tattered umbu flashed through their minds. But they had to go, so Naruto did what no sane person would. "Nei-chan, wake up. It's my first day of the academy, remember? You said you would go with me." Silence. He shook her lightly, and she glared at him. When she saw who it was, her gaze softened. "Oi, Naru, what did I say about waking me up? Are you trying to get yourself killed? Anyway, you wouldn't wake me up for no reason, so what is it?" Her eyes widened when he told her they were going to be late. She got ready in 5 minutes and then shoes-hined to the market to buy some fruit. "Here, bro," she said, handing him some fruit. "You're a growing boy, so you need these." She ignored the glares around them, something she was used to. "Okay, break it up," she said with a sadistic grin. "We all love Naruto, we get the idea, so move along." Some scoffed, but Miley's look of pure malice shut them up. As they neared the academy, they met up with Shikamaru, Koji, and Hinata. Everyone stared at them, including the Hokage and his family. The civilians were whispering, "Shh, don't say that. Look who's with him. She's the strongest shinobi and is on his side, and don't play with him, he's a demon." Minato and Kushina were shocked to hear their son being insulted. "Hey, what are you saying about my son?" Kushina yelled. One civilian approached the Hokage and said, "Hokage-sama, please don't let the demon be a ninja." He was sent flying into a tree by Miley. She grabbed him by the hair and said, "Say one more thing out of your filthy mouth, and I'll make sure you won't be able to talk again. Permanently." She let go and looked at the other civilians, who were shaking with fear. "If anyone here says that again about my baby bro, I'll make sure you'll wish for death," she said in a demonic voice, then walked into the academy. The Hokage's family remained frozen. Minato finally snapped out of it, tears in his eyes. "He was telling the truth," he said. "What?" Kushina and Naruto asked. "When he said the villagers would harass him, and we would hit him and say he was lying, he wasn't lying. He was telling the truth." Kushina broke down in tears, remembering all the times she had slapped him. Naruto was in disbelief. The villagers who were so nice to her were monsters to her brother. "Tio-san, Ka-san, I'm going to class now," Naruto said. "I'm going to protect my brother no matter what happens, believe it." They nodded and went their separate ways. Naruto entered the classroom and saw Naruto sitting with Shikamaru and Koji. The only empty seat was next to Hinata, right behind Naruto. Naruto thought it was perfect and introduced herself. "Hey there. The name's Naruto. What's yours?" Hinata, remembering Miley's advice to be nice but act like she didn't know anything, calmly replied, "Hello, I already know who you are. My name is Hinata." Naruto tried to continue the conversation. I saw you with my brother this morning. Are you guys friends? Hinata didn't know how to answer, but luckily Miley and their teacher, Irika, walked in. Everyone admired Miley, but she ignored them. Miley, what are you doing here? Irika sighed. I didn't think you'd want to come back here again. Pust, Irika, what again? I've never been here before. Besides, I came to see my bro and see if your lessons are useful. If not, I have some scrolls I need him to decipher. I'm too lazy to do it myself, she said with a shrug, walking toward the back of the class. Irika was shocked. Decipher? Who at this age could decipher languages? And who exactly is her brother? Then he heard, Oi, Nei-chan, what the hell are you doing here? I thought the Hokage was going to give you a mission. Naruto was happy to hear her brother's voice, but her happiness died when she realized he was talking to Miley, not her. The whole class was shocked. Nei-chan, who is she? Kiba barked. Isn't Naruto your sister? Naruto started laughing. Don't kid yourself. I've never seen her or her parents as family. Miley put on her headphones and started working on the scrolls. Yo, Irika, I think you should start your lesson now. I want my bro to come help me with this. As soon as the first subject ended, she motioned for Naruto to come to the back. Irika watched as Naruto wrote down the translated meanings with ease. They were comparing and asking each other questions as if they were fascinated by what they had found. Irika was shaken out of his thoughts when he heard, "S up, Irika. Are you finding our work interesting? I was just wondering how you know how to decipher such old and ancient languages, especially you, Naruto?" Irika asked. My sister taught me, Naruto said. It's pretty simple, really. It's something we do for fun. We look for scrolls when she goes out on missions. How many languages do you know, Naruto? Irika asked. The bell rang, and Naruto packed up. I guess that's something you won't know, Miley said with a grin. I must tell the Hokage about this. His son is a genius. He doesn't need to be at the academy, Irika thought. But when he saw Minato and Kushina at the entrance, he glanced at Naruto, who shook his head. Irika didn't tell them but wondered why Naruto's relationship with his family was so bad. The next day, Miley needed to go on a mission. She came in through the window with a stack of books and scrolls and, speaking in the League's language, told Naruto to decipher them. I need you to decipher these, Naru. I did some, and I think it's a story. It's really interesting, so hurry. Come on, sis, I wanted to sleep through class. Can't we do it when you get back? He replied in the same language. No, my mission is about a week or two long, and I want to read it when I get back. Fine, but you owe me some ramen. Thanks, brother O, and don't forget to clean my place. You already have the keys. Hell, no. Fine. I hate you so much, you know, he said with a grin. She laughed, kissed him on the forehead, said, love you too, bro, and shoes hind away. Naruto turned to the stack of scrolls, sighed, and went to the back to work on them. These are going to be a really long 4 years, Irika thought. The day they became ninjas. For years had passed, and the day had finally come for the academy students to graduate and become full-fledged ninjas. Naruto, however, hadn't been a typical student. He spent most of his time training with Kurama in his mindscape, a secret no one knew, deciphering ancient scrolls, or simply sleeping through class. His teacher, Irika, didn't mind since Naruto consistently aced all his exams. Irika had been secretly informed by a girl named Miley about Naruto's true family history. The news had shocked him, so he agreed to only report Naruto's grades when asked, keeping his true talents a secret. To prevent Naruto's twin sister, Naruko, and the other students from noticing his inattention, a genjutsu was cast over them, making it appear as though he were focused. Despite this, the villagers and his classmates' poor treatment of him continued, but Naruto had learned to ignore it. He was focused on this day, the day he would become a ninja, an adult, and finally move out to live with Miley. It was a day he had long dreamed of. The graduation test. Naruto arrived at the academy early, taking a seat in the empty classroom. Soon, the other students began to arrive, along with their parents, who had come to watch the graduation tests. This included the Hokage and his wife, Minato, and Kushina. They had spent the last 4 years trying to connect with Naruto, but with no success. They were back at square one. The test was about to begin when Hinata, who had also become more confident over the years and was hiding her true strength, came and sat next to Naruto. Miley, meanwhile, had become the village's beauty. Many men proposed marriage, but she would politely decline, often by beating them up so badly they ended up in the ICU. Naruto once asked her why she didn't want a boyfriend, and she replied that it would take up too much of her time and she hadn't found anyone worth it. When the parents came in, the Hokage and his wife smiled and waved at Naruto, but he ignored them, a detail that didn't go unnoticed by the other parents and clan leaders. As Irika prepared to start the written portion of the test, all the shinobi parents and Umbu guards suddenly entered a fighting stance. Naruto initially ignored it, but a familiar voice and chakra signature made him turn around with a smile. Would you people be so kind as to put away your toys? They could seriously hurt someone, said Ra's al Ghul. Everyone was terrified and confused. The Hokage confronted him. What do you want, Raz? You don't have permission to be in the village. On the contrary, I do, Hokage, Raz replied. People grew curious, with some even glaring at the Hokage for what they thought was giving a villain permission to enter the village. Before a scene could erupt, another voice was heard. Tio Yusan, don't you think you could have come with Miles? She said she was coming too. Now you've made a big scene, said Naruto to Raz. Everyone was shocked, especially when they heard Naruto call him dad. The Hokage's heart broke, and he wondered how his son could possibly know this man. Your sister was asleep, and I didn't want to wake her. You know what happens when someone tries. But don't worry, if she said she'll be here, she will. I don't know why you're still in this bloody hell, or even came to this academy in the first place, Raz said, looking at the crowd with disgust. Naruto shrugged. To be honest, I would have left, but I have some really important people here. Besides, if my mere existence fulfills their need for pain and torture for the time being, I'll take it. Anyway, we were about to start the written test until you showed up with your grand entrance. There are seats over there for parents. They continued to have a normal conversation as if nothing was wrong. Before taking his seat, Raz walked up to Irika and did something unexpected. I apologize for taking up your time. You may begin your tests. I won't interfere again. As you can see, I came to see my son take his tests. Irika told the students to start the test, and everyone was left in a state of shock, especially at the revelation that Naruto was Ra's al Ghul's son. The skills test. 5 minutes into the test, Naruto finished, flipped his paper over, and put his head down. While many parents thought he was being lazy, Irika and Raz just smiled, knowing better. After the written test, everyone moved outside for the ninja skills portion. Just then, Miley arrived. She glared at her father and walked toward him. Naruto and his friends, Shikamaru, Koji, and Hinata, all began to giggle. Shikamaru's father, curious, asked what was so funny. Dad, it's too troublesome to explain. Just watch, Shikamaru replied, pointing to the scene unfolding. Miley was holding her father by the collar, ranting at him in the league's language. Only Naruto understood, and he burst into laughter. The others soon joined in, not as hard as Naruto, but still amused. Miley's rant, which was about her father leaving her behind and not waking her up, ended with her shooing him away. The shinobi in the crowd were amused to see a man like Ra's al Ghul so belittled. After he was gone, Miley hugged and kissed Naruto on the forehead, then greeted the other three before taking a seat with Mikato, after receiving a scolding from Irika for causing a scene. Miley was friends with Mikato from missions she had gone on with Itaki and Shisui. Unlike the other girls, she didn't have a crush on either of them. She considered them her friends, especially Shisui, and would often tell Itaka's fangirls where he was just to annoy him. As she sat down, Hanabi came and tackled her with a hug, which Miley returned. Miley, can I listen to some music on your player, please? Hanabi asked. Of course. Here, Miley replied, taking off the player and giving Hanabi the headphones. She then put Hanabi on her lap as the kunao and shuriken throwing began. Miley felt a dark killer intent directed at her and saw it was coming from Naruto, but she just smirked and ignored it. Naruto was angry that her brother was acknowledging someone else as his sister and that he called a well-known murderer his father. She saw her parents' pained and guilty expressions and felt she couldn't take it anymore. The past 4 years had been difficult, and they felt further from Naruto than ever before. All she wanted was a chance, but she didn't know why he wouldn't give it to them. The final showdown. It was finally Naruto's turn. Laughter and hurtful comments from the other students were immediately silenced by a wave of killer intent from Miley that even sent shivers down the spines of the adults. The only ones unaffected were Mikato, Hanabi, and her mother, who were used to it. Naruto smiled as he heard Miley cheer for him. He loved her for her childishness. He took his stance, threw the kunao and shuriken, and hit a perfect 10, leaving the crowd of parents and students silently shocked. His friends, Miley, and Hanabi cheered for him, while Shikamaru smiled, calling it too troublesome to cheer. The Hokage and his family were also shocked but happy and proud that he passed. Next were the fights between students. Naruto looked at Miley, who shook her head, a signal for him not to kill anyone or show too much of his power. He pouted but agreed. Mikato asked Miley who she thought would win, as many of the students were clan heirs. Mikato-san, to be honest, the only people I believe should actually be clan heirs are the Akimichi heir, the Nara heir, and especially the Hyaga heir. Every other one has an issue that, if they don't resolve it, will lead to their downfall, Miley said, analyzing a current fight. This angered some of the clan leaders, with Kiba's mother yelling, "Are you saying my Kiba isn't good enough to be a leader?" No, woman. Don't put words in my mouth. I said if they don't change, they won't be fit. Kiba, you say? His downfall is that he jumps right into a problem without knowing the situation. If he becomes a leader with that brain, you can kiss your clan's existence goodbye. Kushina then challenged, what about my daughter, Naruko? She is the Hokage's daughter. Let me cut you off right there, Kushina-san. First, that title was taken from your eldest to your youngest, which doesn't make sense at all, Miley said, causing different effects of shock, sadness, and guilt among the listeners. Secondly, your daughter boasts about her parents' status and uses it for her success. Using the accomplishments of others doesn't make you a good leader. What is she going to do when she's in Kumo and tries to get free by saying, "My father is the Hokage"? It'll get her killed for sure. Another woman asked, then what about my daughter? And who, if I may ask politely, the hell is your daughter? Miley asked, confused. Oh, the screaming banshee. She's your daughter. Man, I would totally understand if your earbuds burst. She is so freaking loud and it's so annoying, especially since the only reason she's at the academy is because of Mikato's son. The only thing I think you should do is pray. Pray that she comes back to you alive, Miley said, putting a hand on the woman's shoulder. Hayashi Hayaga then asked why she thought Hinata was fit to be an heir. Lord Hayaga, I don't think she's fit to be heir, I think that she's perfect. She's kind and compassionate and would only make judgments when she experiences the situation or talks to the person personally, not to mention that she is powerful. I bet that she could beat any Hayaga that isn't you in a one-on-one match, she said confidently. Hayashi was suspicious, but Miley just smiled. Hayashi-san, there is more than meets the eye with Hinata. That's all I can tell you. Suddenly, Miley remembered she hadn't seen Itaki or Shisui in a while. Say, Mikato-san, I haven't seen Itaki for the past couple of months. Where is he? Did he go on a long mission? Now that I think about it, I haven't seen Shisui either. Do you know where they are? Mikato looked sad. Don't you know? Shisui was killed and… What? Miley yelled. Calm down. They say the one who did it was my son, Itaki, Mikato said with shame. Miley burst into laughter. Ha ha ha. What has this village become? First, abusing a little boy and now lying that a person killed his friend. Ha ha ha. Fugaku, Itaki's father, yelled, don't laugh, you brat. It took a lot for my wife to tell you that, and you're laughing. How dare you? Miley looked at Mikato. No, I didn't mean it like that. Mikato-san, do you really believe that Itaki actually killed his best friend? I remember he and Shisui were best friends, and nothing could come between them. Damn, this village is something else, isn't it? Mikato's face filled with hope. You're telling me you believe he didn't kill him? I thought so too, but he left the village before I could ask. Mikato-san, I'd bet my life on it. Itaki and Shisui were my best friends. When I first came to the village when I was 4, they were the first friends I made. Hell, they were friends before that. Miley's words gave Mikato a new sense of hope. Mikato-san, if you need my help, please ask. You should be careful. In this village, there are dark forces that cover up such things, and I doubt they wouldn't try to get you killed if you find the truth. Thank you so much, Mikato sobbed, and Miley hugged her, also crying for her dead friend. The bet. Miley snapped out of her sadness when she heard the final fight was about to begin. Naruto versus Naruto. Naruto saw this as an opportunity to reconnect with her brother. They both went into a fighting stance. Nii-san, let's make a bet. If I win, you have to give us a chance, okay? Naruto said, confident she would win since she believed Naruto had no training. Her parents also smirked at her plan. And if I win? Naruto asked. If I win, you and your family will never bother me again, alright. Naruto was shaken by his confidence but nodded. She attacked, aiming for a punch, but he easily caught her fist and punched her in the stomach, sending her flying into the academy wall, where she fell unconscious. Winner, Naruto Namikaze, a satisfied Irika announced. Everyone, except for a few, was shocked. Their hero had been defeated by the demon. Naruto left the field as if nothing had happened and was greeted by his friend's smiles. He sat next to Suzuki, who also knew Naruto was hiding his strength. The two had a newfound respect for each other. The Hokage then gave his speech and handed out headbands. When he reached Naruto, the boy ignored him, took his headband, and walked over to where Miley was. Before they could leave, the teams were assigned. Team 7 Suzuki Uchiha, Naruto Namikaze, Sakura Harano, and Naruto Namikaze. Jounin, Kakashi and Kushina. Damn that Hokage. He's trying to get you guys together by putting you on the same team. He sure is using his power for the wrong thing, Miley said. Naruto thought, I know, Kurama. Where was that power when the villagers were harassing me? Tisk, the nerve. He glared at the Hokage and his family before walking up to Naruto and saying, don't forget our deal. Naruto began to cry, believing it was her fault their family would never be whole again. Her mother comforted her, and they walked back to the classroom. Team 7. The teams were called one by one. Finally, Kakashi arrived. My first impression of all of you, I hate you. Meet me on the roof in 5. He then shoes-hined away. Naruto did the same, telling Suzuki to grab on, leaving the 3 girls behind. Kakashi was surprised to see them arrive on the roof. How do you know that jutsu? It's a C-rank jutsu, he questioned. Naruto just shrugged. Soon after, the other three arrived. Naruto, you baka, don't just leave us there, Sakura screamed, trying to hit him. He grabbed her arm and tightened his grip. Try that again, and I'll make sure you don't have an arm to swing, he said with dull, lifeless eyes. He let her go, and she winced in pain and nodded. Well then, let's introduce ourselves and tell our likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dreams. I'll go first, Kakashi said before pointing to Sakura. Now your turn, Pinky. My name is Sakura Haruno, and my likes are Giggles and my dislikes are Naruto Baka and Ino Pig. And my dream is Giggles. Everyone's sweat dropped. What a sad girl, Naruto said, shaking his head. Now you, redhead. My name is Naruto Namikaze. My likes are my family and this village. My dislike is that my brother hates me and my parents, and it's my dream that I'll bring him back to our family. Naruto and Kushina looked at Naruto, but his scoff and indifference saddened them. The others wondered what was wrong with their family. Say, Naruto, how come the villagers call you a demon? I mean, it's not like you did something to them, right? Sasuke asked. He had been wondering this since the academy, but had been too scared to ask with Miley around. Don't ask him such questions. Just know that he isn't a demon. He's my son, Kushina said. I'll tell you, Naruto said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are my father Roz and my sister Miley. My dislikes are this village and the Hokage's family. My dream is to get back at everyone who has ever wronged me and to protect the one person who was there for me in my hour of darkness. He then answered Sasuke's question directly. To answer your question, Sasuke, the villagers hate me because I have the nine-tailed fox sealed inside of me. I am a Jinchuriki. But why would they hate you? You're literally stopping the demon from getting out. They should be thanking you, not the other way around, Sasuke said, unable to believe the villagers were so idiotic. Naruto smiled and thanked him. He never thought he'd find someone who saw things the same way. Another friend won't be so bad, right, he thought. It's up to you, Kit. Now leave me alone, I want to sleep, the fox replied. Lazy fox, Naruto thought, cutting the connection. After an awkward silence, Kakashi said, meet us tomorrow at Training Ground 7 at 6 a.m. for your test. He then shoes-hined away. Do you want to hang out? Naruto asked Sasuke, who was trying to get a clingy Sakura off of him. Sure. Anyone else? Sasuke asked, hoping Miley wouldn't be there. Just Miley and I think Hanabi. Come on, Miley isn't scary. She's actually friends with your brother, Itaki. Now that we're friends, she'll like you. Sasuke hesitated but grabbed on, and they shoes-hined away, leaving a screaming Sakura behind. The new home. The next morning at Training Ground 7, a tall and short brunette were dancing freestyle to an upbeat song. Just then, a blonde and a raven appeared. They watched the familiar sight until Miley coughed loudly. Nei-chan, Hanabi, why do you guys always do this at a training ground? It's meant for training, not whatever it is you guys were doing, Naruto said with a sigh. We are training, Naru, right, Hanabi, Miley said. Yeah, we're training in dancing, Hanabi giggled. Naruto facepalmed and then remembered Sasuke beside him, who was shaking and sweating, terrified of Miley. Calm down, Sasuke. Trust me, you'll remember this day and wonder why you were scared, Naruto whispered. They walked up to the girls. Nei-chan, I want you to meet a new friend, Sasuke. He has your belief that the villagers should be thanking me and not the other way around. Wait, you told him. Then he must be good. Hey there, Sasuke, the name's Miley. I think I saw your match earlier. I can tell that you have a lot of potential. But Sasuke, she looked at him, I heard that name before when oh yeah, Itaki told me all about you. You're his brother, huh? Funny, you don't look like a jerk, which could be said for your brother, she said with a laugh. Sasuke was dumbfounded. This was a girl who didn't fan over him or his brother. He then remembered his brother talking about a weird but nice girl. Asterisk Nii-san, I think I found the weird but nice girl you love talking about, asterisk, he thought. A Hyuga shinobi came to take Hanabi home, and after saying their goodbyes, Miley turned to the boys. Well, come on, Naru, we've been waiting for this day for so long, remember. Remembering, they sped off toward the Namikaze household, with Sasuke right behind them. What are you guys doing? What exactly is today for, besides graduating, he asked. Moving, they said in unison. They took turns explaining their plan over the years. They soon arrived at the house and were met with the faces of Minato and Kushina. Naruto, we wanted to congratulate you on becoming a genin today, but why did you say your name was Uzumaki? You know very well it's Namikaze, Kushina said. Because Kushina-san, from today on, I changed it to Uzumaki. The couple looked sad, but he continued to taunt them. Why the long faces? I thought you would be happy to be rid of a demon and extra baggage. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go pack my things. Pack? Where are you going? This is your home, Minato started. No, it isn't. It never was and it never will be. Minato looked at a smirking Miley and yelled, "You! This is all your fault. What have you done to our son?" By now, Naruto had come downstairs and started listening to the conversation. "Me, Hokage, you must be confused. I gave him a home. I gave him companionship. I gave him a family. I made him into the son you are so proud of right now. Do you know? That night on his 5th birthday, when we first met, he was covered in cuts, stabs, and broken bones. I healed him, and in order to avoid suspicion, I sent a clone. He told me about the villagers and how you people, his own family, never believed him. So I wanted to experience it firsthand. And guess what? He was right. Do you remember, when I asked in you?" She pointed an accusing finger at Kushina, just slapped him and told him to leave. A trustworthy ally. Minato's thoughts raced. If I can get Miley to help, we might actually stand a chance. He knew that the only person he could truly trust to help them now was her. A quiet confession. As they approached Miley and Naruto's apartment, Sasuke broke the silence. "Were you really going to slap her? I know you two don't get along, but was that necessary?" he asked. "I didn't really mean to," Naruto said, laughing awkwardly while scratching his head. "My anger just got the better of me. Celebration and surprises. Come on, you two. Now that everything's right in the world, let's head back to the main house," a voice squealed. "I've already drawn our baths, and the chef is making a celebratory dinner for you both becoming genin. He's even making desserts. Isn't that great?" She was a complete sucker for desserts, especially cake. Offer her some, and she would do anything you asked. "Me too," Sasuke asked. "Duh, of course. We're friends now, right?" she replied, closing the door behind them. They then used a body flicker to get to the main house, where they were greeted by maids and butlers. Sasuke was surprised to hear them address Naruto as Naruto-sama. "What are you, royalty?" he joked. "Actually, yes. Since I'm her brother," Naruto deadpanned. "Alright, boys, I'm going upstairs," she said. "Naruto, show your friend around. Come on, it's really big. I got lost a couple of times when I first came here, but not anymore." "Hey, can I ask you something?" Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. "Do you think Miley would train me, just like she trained you?" He wanted to get stronger and knew she was the key. "Well, sure. But she has to see your determination," Naruto replied. "I don't know if you've noticed, but the only people she's ever trained are me and Hinata. Oh, and she promised Hanabi she'd train her when she gets older. She has a soft spot for that girl," he said with amusement. "Wait, did you say Hinata? I didn't know that," Sasuke exclaimed. "That's because it's a secret. Oh well. Even if Miley doesn't train you, you could ask one of the maids or butlers here." "Why would I ask a servant? I think I'm far better already," he scoffed. "I don't think so, since they're all part of the league, meaning they have that training." Naruto looked at him and saw his eyes bugging out. He started to laugh so hard. "Man, you should have seen your face just now. It was hilarious," he said between laughs. Just then, a maid came in with drinks for the boys. "Congratulations on your achievement today, Naruto-sama. You can now live with my lady. I'm really happy for you," she said, bowing. "Thanks a lot, Alex. I've been waiting so long for this day. Oh, and I made a new friend. This is Sasuke." "Sasuke, this is Alex, one of my special people in life," he said, grinning his fox-like grin. The maid bowed again and then walked away. "She congratulated you on moving out but not on being a genin," Sasuke thought aloud. Naruto just chuckled and said, "They all know about my problems in the village and that I'm stronger than any jounin in the leaf. It's why they all hate the leaf. Anyway, I'm too lazy to give you a tour. How about we watch a movie before Miles comes back down? The movies are over there. Just pick one and let's watch it," he said, pointing to a shelf loaded with movies. As Sasuke went through them, he realized that they were all horror movies. What the hell is up with these people? "Hey, what's up with all the horror movies? We both like watching them. It's fun since none of them really scare us," he shrugged. He picked one, and as they were in the middle of watching it, Miley came back down, her hair soaked in a towel around her neck. "Oh, you came out," Naruto said. "Yup. Now let's go, you two, it's time to take a bath." "Oh, and Sasuke, you're staying the night. I already told your mother, so don't worry. Besides, don't you guys have a test tomorrow?" They nodded, and just as they were leaving, Sasuke gathered all his courage and asked the terrifying girl, Miley, do you think you could train me?" He closed his eyes, waiting for a painful response, but nothing came. Instead, he heard, "Sure, why not? Remembering your fight, I could tell you have a lot of motivation and potential. But let me ask you, why do you want to be strong?" He blinked. He didn't really know. Then he looked at Naruto and knew. "I want to beat him in a one-on-one match. I know he's hiding his strength," he said, pointing an accusing finger at Naruto. "Alright then, that's actually pretty good. two of my students as rivals, but you can't really beat him now. He has Kurama's power all mastered. Unless what? Are you saying there's a way to beat him even with the fox's power? Now he looked excited. Yeah, but I need to do a lot of research to help you. I think Kurama can help too, right? She got a nod from Naruto and then turned back to Sasuke. Have you ever heard of the Rinnegan? Rinnegan? What's that? Is that like the Sharingan? He questioned. Do you even know what the Mangekyo Sharingan is? He shook his head no. Boy, did she have a lot to teach him. So she started to explain both eyes to the boy, and to say he was fascinated was an understatement. Did Itachi know all of this? He wondered. Yup, he did. Actually, he already has the Mangekyo Sharingan, she replied. He sighed. Don't worry, when I'm done with you, the both of you will be on a totally different level than the other genin. They'll be so jealous, she smirked and laughed evilly. The others just thought, pure evil. Training and a shocking revelation. They started their training immediately, first with chakra control. She realized he was horrible at it, so she told Naruto to give him some tips as she went to get a snack. When she arrived, which was surprisingly 4 hours later, he had managed to walk up the tree in the back gardens. Then they started to work on the walking on water technique, which was relatively easy, considering he had the chakra control down. After that, she called it a day and told them to finally take a shower. They were given new sets of clothes, then came down to eat dinner. Sasuke was starting to fit in easily around the place. He liked it, and over the small amount of time they were together, the two boys bonded pretty well, talking and joking as if they were friends forever. He loved the food and, oddly, thanked the chef later on. Sasuke Uchiha thanked the chef. When they were done, they went to sleep for the next day. The next day, they woke up, took a bath, and then came down to eat. Wait, we were told not to eat anything, remember, Sasuke said. It's all right. I've seen Kakashi do the bell test multiple times. It's just a scam. Besides, how would you fight with an empty stomach? With that said, he sat down and ate his food. Then they used a body flicker to get back to Konoha. It was now about 8 a.m. They went to the field and saw just Naruto and Sakura there. You're late, screeched Sakura as she pointed to Naruto. It's not late if the Jounin aren't even here, little girl, said Miley with disgust in her voice. Sakura just backed down, terrified of the girl. Where did you guys go anyway? Naruto asked. She didn't like the fact that Miley was here. That's none of your business, Miley snapped. They both had mutual hate toward one another. Just then, Kushina came, dragging Kakashi by the ear. Sorry we're late, she said, then saw Miley. She narrowed her eyes, and you could literally see the word hate in her eyes. What are you doing here? She questioned. Hey, does everyone here have a problem with my sister? Naruto mumbled. Chill out, would you? Why do all these people hate me? I mean, I know I'm great, so don't hate. Just answer the question. Alright. I was just dropping off Naruto and Sasuke. They spent the night at my place, and yes, Mikato-san already knew. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some research to do. She looked at Sasuke, ruffled his hair, and said, Don't worry. I'll get all the necessary information. Until then, it's our little secret. She winked and then used a body flicker to get away, leaving a screaming Sakura about leaving her Sasuke alone and a smiling Sasuke. Anyway, let's get the test started. Kakashi explained the test and the punishment. Now, begin. They all scattered into different hiding spots, except Naruto, who stood there with his hands in his pockets, without a care in the world. The two Jounin sweat dropped. Naruto, aren't you going to hide? Kushina asked. There's no point in hiding when you already know where we're going to be, but I guess that could be arranged. He then used a body flicker to where Sasuke was and told him of the plan. He located the other two and also told them. They executed their plan and managed to get the bells. They passed and so went to the Hokage Tower for some D-rank missions. They were given the mission of getting the demon cat, Tora. When they were about to leave, Kushina stayed behind to talk to her husband. Seeing this, Naruto also stayed behind and said he would catch up. When they left, he turned to Kushina and walked up to her. She was expecting him to finish what he was going to do, but instead, she was shocked. He bowed and said, I apologize for my actions yesterday, Kushina-san. What I did was something of the spur of the moment, and I let my anger get the best of me. He straightened up, looked into her tearing eyes, and said, Once again, I apologize, and walked away. Just then, Team 7 came back, with Jiraiya this time, and looked at the scene of Kushina on the verge of tears and Naruto about to leave. What's going on here? Jiraiya said. Naruto, wait. I know we weren't the best parents, but please listen. There is no excuse for what we did to you. It was unfair and unjust. But please, just one chance won't hurt, right? Minato begged. They were shocked that the Hokage was down on his knees begging. Realizing what was going on, Jiraiya spoke up. Oi, Naruto, it wasn't your parents' fault. I was the one who told them to postpone your training. See, your sister was the child of prophecy, so I told them to focus on her. Just then, Miley came into the office yelling, "Hokage! I have some woe, why the hell are there so many people?" Noticing Naruto and Sasuke. "Hey there, little bro and little bro's friend. Aren't you getting your first mission today? And why in the world is the Hokage on the floor? Get yourself up, dude. You're the leader. You're not supposed to be on the floor." "Oh, hey there, Jiraiya. How's it been?" Still being a pervert, she asked all childish-like. "Miley, can't you read the situation in here?" Jiraiya sighed. "Sorry, dude. So what's up?" "The Hokage and his family are trying to get their son back into the family, and he isn't responding," Kakashi explained. "Oh." Looking at Naruto, she saw his fists clenched in seething anger. She held his hand, and as he looked at her, she smiled. "Let it all out, brother, okay? I know they don't deserve it, but let them know exactly what they did wrong. Let them feel the same pain that you felt all those years, okay? Don't worry, I'll stay here with you all the way. So just let it all out." He smiled, took a deep breath, and then began. "Do you really think that because you didn't train me is why I hate and despise you right now?" They nodded, feeling a little hurt. "Well, it isn't. You said that she was the prophecy child, and I understand that you needed to train her, but did it mean to ignore me? Did it mean that I was to be neglected? To be forgotten? That even in the mornings, a simple hello or how was your day, son couldn't be spared? That I was to be seen as a liar? All I wanted was to be acknowledged, to know that my family still loved me, to know that I still existed, but then the very same family that was to take my side doubted me, took the side of the villagers? Every day, I would come home half dead, after being beaten by the villagers, and when coming back home, to a place where I'm supposed to see as a sanctuary, it becomes a living hell itself? You wouldn't believe me of the villagers' treatment, yet you still don't wonder or have an explanation to the cuts and bruises that are visibly shown all over my body? You're the Hokage. Isn't it the Hokage's job to find the truth? Did you look at the medical records in the hospital? How did you come to the conclusion that I was lying? Did you know that the very same shinobi that are under your command would smirk and turn a blind eye when I asked for their help? Some would laugh and even help the villagers. At the age of 5, when I met Miley, do you know what she saved me from? Do you?" They shook their heads, already sobbing. "She saved me from myself, from killing myself on my birthday. The day where I'm supposed to have a party, presents, a celebration. Instead, I got nearly killed and didn't want to live anymore. But then she stopped me." He pointed and smiled at Miley, who everyone looked at, in tears, "and she picked up the life I wanted to throw away. She gave me a home, a family, people I could rely on. She gave me a purpose in this world. She stood up for me when even the world was against me, yet she still stayed by my side, while my blood-related family chose to abandon me. My very first birthday party was given to me by her. She gave me her most prized possession, her mother's summoning scroll, showing that she trusted me, something you couldn't do. At the age of 5, I gave up on life and giving you a chance to make amends. At the age of 6, I decided to give you guys another chance, that led to my own humiliation of being stripped of my title of heir. And at the age of 7, all hope that you, my family, of actually loving me or caring for me disappeared. You say you want to make amends, yet you don't know the root of the problem. You say that I didn't give you a chance, yet I already gave you two. You may see me as your son, but just as flowers don't get to choose where they grow, children don't get to choose their parents. So please, stop trying. All it's doing is making me hate you more." He glared at them with a huge killer intent, half of his usual, and then went to Miley. The 3 family members, including Jiraiya, were sobbing uncontrollably. They didn't know that his pain was this great. God, they didn't even know he was going to commit suicide. Kakashi, along with the rest of the team, couldn't even believe that he went through this much. Even Sakura felt like crying after hearing his story. No wonder they're so close, everyone thought as they looked at Miley hugging Naruto as they were leaving the door. "Let's go, we have a mission to complete," he said before he left. No one really wanted to go on the mission after that, but the rest of Team 7 followed behind nonetheless, while still sobbing except for Sasuke, but he had his head down and making people wonder just what happened in the Hokage's office. Newfound friendship and a dangerous mission. A couple of weeks passed by from that day. Team 7 would complete various D-rank missions all over the village, while Sasuke and Naruto, well mostly Sasuke, would train with Miley in secret. After finding out his chakra infinity was fire, Miley would ask her father to help in training him when he was free, since he too had a chakra infinity of fire. At first, he was scared of the man, but after a couple of weeks together, they became friends. He was also taught swordsmanship. To say he felt special was an understatement. He felt honored that they took the time to train him. Sasuke's father still paid little attention to him, so he didn't know about his training, but his mother, on the other hand, knew he was being trained and felt proud of her son's accomplishment. After having enough of doing D-rank missions, Team 7 had enough. "Tou-san, no more chores. We're ready to take on a higher rank," yelled Naruto. "Kakashi, Kushina, do you think they're ready?" Minato questioned. "Yes, Hokage-sama, I do believe that they're ready, Kakashi replied. Alright then, bring in the client. Just then, a half-drunken man came in through the doors. Alright, Team 7, your C-rank mission is to escort this bridge builder to the land of waves. His name is Tajuna, the Hokage said. What are these? I hired ninjas, not a bunch of brats, although the raven and the blonde look reliable. This got a chuckle from both of them and angry looks from the females on the team. Now, there are 2 powerful jounin on our team, and you guys can't kill the client, he said to the females. They were in a fighting stance, wanting to beat the crap out of him, but stayed down. Then Kakashi continued, let's meet at the front gates in 3 hours, and then used a body flicker to get away. He's probably going to read that perverted book. They all sighed. Sakura turned to Sasuke and said, Sasuke-kun, do you want to hang out while we wait, she asked. He didn't look at her but instead turned to Naruto and said, wanna go finish that movie at your place? We had about an hour and a half left, leaving plenty of time, he asked. Sure, and I think Miley's at home too. She's been dying to finish it, Naruto replied. As they were going to walk out, Naruto spoke up. Do you think I could watch with you guys? Please, I don't really have anything to do. She hoped that they would agree but had a feeling that she was going to be ignored. Sure, just don't make a sound during the movie, especially when the actors are talking, or else she'll never let you watch again. Oh, and don't get scared, we're watching a horror movie, Naruto said as they continued to walk out. She, along with her parents, were shocked that he had actually talked to her, let alone let her come along. She walked toward them, smiling as they opened the door to leave. Can I come too? Sakura asked. No, and then slam, the door was slammed in her face. She was fuming as to why Naruto was allowed to go and not her, and then she left. Did I just see that, or was I hallucinating? He talked to her, let alone said she could come, and then said no to the other girl. Minato spoke up. Do you think he's finally warming up to us? I mean, in practice, whenever I tell him something to improve on, he listens, and when I ask a question during training, he responds kindly, Kushina said. I don't think so. He might do so because you're his sensei, but nothing else. Let's just have hope, okay? She nodded and then left. Just as she was going to leave, Miley walked in for a mission. Reporting for a mission, Hokage, she saw Kushina and slightly bowed. I don't really have a mission for you now, Miley. How about taking a break until I do, alright? She nodded as she was going to leave but was stopped. Wait, she turned around and faced Kushina. I know that I've acted horribly toward you, so I wanted to apologize, but you must understand, I thought that you told him to hate us. My wife and I are both sorry, and we would like to thank you for saving our son. You were, and still are, a major part of his life, and we want to be a part of it. We know what we did was wrong, so please help us get our son back, he pleaded. She looked at them and sighed. Look, I don't really like talking about this topic, but I guess I could give you a few tips. Just don't overdo it. You don't know this, but when I first met your son, he was already dead. What do you mean, he's right here? Kushina said, confused. Yes, but what I mean was that his eyes were dead. He didn't have the will to live anymore. I really don't know how I did it, but I gave him life back into his eyes, his smile, something that I vowed to give him back. Whatever you do, you have to promise he won't lose it ever again. They nodded, and so she proceeded, well, first off, transform yourselves into random villagers and observe what they do. You're right. The demon brothers, why were they after you, Tajuna? Kakashi asked. After explaining the situation, the group decided to continue the mission anyway. Say, Miley, what was that power you used to stop the chains? That wasn't any jutsu I've ever seen, Kushina exclaimed, voicing the question on everyone's mind except Naruto's and Sasuke's. It's called telekinesis. My powers are an SS rank secret, and anyone who knows about them without my father's consent will be killed immediately. They all shuddered at the thought of a mass murderer haunting them for the rest of their lives. Then why did you use it? Naruto asked. Because, I don't like listening to that old man. Duh, she said, continuing on her way, with the others trailing behind. As they neared the village, Naruto threw a kunao into a bush, and a white rabbit scurried out. Naruto baka. You were going to key. Her voice was cut short by a sword pressed against her throat. Belittle my brother again, and I won't hesitate to put this sword through your chest, Miley said in a demonic voice. This silenced Naruto, much to everyone's relief. Just then, Kakashi yelled, Duck! Duck! Where is it? She was cut off by a sword swinging their way. Everyone, except Miley and Naruto, hit the ground. Miley caught the blade between 2 fingers, shocking the onlookers. Wow, Kakashi, that wasn't a duck, it was a sword, Miley complained. How sad. He doesn't even know the difference between a duck and a sword, Naruto sighed. He should go back to the academy for being so dumb. It'll get him killed for sure, and I don't think even the academy could help him. We should buy him picture books to read by himself. Nei-chan, he needs at least 5 teachers to help him. He can't do it alone. While they were badmouthing Kakashi, he just stared at them, wide-eyed. Hello, I'm right here, he said. The others were either laughing or just wondering how strong this girl really was. Then they were covered in fog. My, what do we have here? Some nin. Cut the crap, Zabuza, we all know it's just you. Naruto, clear the fog, it's getting really annoying, she said in a bored tone. He used a jutsu that cleared the fog, revealing a pale man, whom they assumed was Zabuza. You, he pointed at Miley. What are you doing here? And with the leaf ninja? You're the she-devil. Kaa-san, why does he look so scared? Naruto whispered. I guess he knows her strength. To be honest, no one in the village has ever seen her at full power, Kushina said. Alright. You guys are supposed to protect the bridge dude. Don't worry, Zabuza, I'm not going to interfere in this fight. I'll go over there and watch. Good luck. Then, she walked to a tree, sat down, and undid a seal that contained a fudge cake. She began to happily eat it. She can't be serious, can she? The Jonin thought. Naruto and Sasuke began their assault, and to say that the people there were impressed was an understatement. Naruto, I think I know what's going on, but Sasuke? How did he get so strong in the couple of weeks that we were training? Kakashi thought. No wonder Nii-san/my son didn't want our training style, Kushina and Naruto thought. I knew those two were special, Tejuna thought. Soon, both boys were towering over Zabuza's almost dead body until a hunter nin appeared and took his body away. They then went to Tejuna's house and met his daughter, Tsunami. They ate their meal and then decided to talk about a plan. Well, first off, Zabuza's alive, Miley said. This shocked the two girls, but not the others. How can he be alive? He was taken by the hunter nin to be killed, Naruto said, mumbling something about don't you know anything, which earned her a glare and a murderous glare from Naruto. He was about to say something but was stopped. Chill out, bro, and yes, apparently I know more than you. If you studied more at the academy, you would know that hunter nin destroy the criminal's body on the spot. This one, however, didn't. I think it was Haku. Yup, it was most definitely Haku. He uses Senbon needles. Who's Haku? Kushina asked. He's an accomplice of Zabuza's. Don't be fooled by his appearance, he might look like a girl, but he is most definitely a guy. They all thought. How do you know all of this? Sasuke questioned, pretty amazed by her information. Well, I'm not the top intelligence reporter for nothing, you know, she said, flicking her hair. Anyways, why don't you get some sleep? We'll start training tomorrow, Kakashi said. What are you going to teach us, sensei? Sakura said, finally managing to gather enough courage to speak after her terrifying experience with Miley earlier. Tree climbing, but without your hands, he grinned. The two girls groaned, while the boys looked at Miley, who shook her head, telling them to shut up. They went upstairs and went to sleep. The next day, they were all outside with kunao in their hands. Alright then, whenever you reach a point on the tree, mark it. Now, start. Naruto just turned to Miley and asked if she could train him and Sasuke. Naruto, you have to first learn this training exercise, Kushina said. He looked at her, blinking as if to say, are you serious? I'm sorry, sensei, but I learned that when I was 5, he said, deadpanned. She then looked at Sasuke. I also know how to do that as well, he replied. She was astonished by who had taught them. Who taught you guys? Kakashi asked curiously. They never suspected Miley because she had refused everyone. She put her hands on both of her students' heads and chuckled. They only learned from the best, Kakashi. Hope you don't mind if I take them away, she smiled. But you refused everyone who asked you. Why did you train them? To say Kakashi was shocked was an understatement. Well, 1, they showed great potential, and they were both determined. Plus, I liked their goals. And 2, no one would have brought out the best of their abilities. Besides, they were both deprived of training, so I saw it as only fair. Then can you train me, to get strong too? Naruto asked. Aren't you the same pathetic brat who's been dissing me and flaring up your weak killing intent toward me? Sorry, but I don't train prissy princesses, she said as she left a fuming Naruto. Then she turned to Sakura. You, however, wouldn't do well as a ninja. Your calling is elsewhere. What do you mean? I'm not supposed to be a ninja, she asked in a scared tone. Seeing this, Miley sighed. Look, don't be afraid. I only got angry because you kept dissing my bro and yelling. I don't mean you shouldn't be a ninja, I mean that you have great chakra control, so I think you should focus more on being a medical ninja. You could ask Tsunade to teach you, and once you have the basics down and I see you're determined, then I can teach you from then on. But Tsunade is the best medical ninja known. How are you going to teach me more? Sakura questioned. Don't get her wrong, she was thrilled the girl didn't hate her, but she just wondered what she meant. Please. In the league, what Tsunade knows is just seen as the basics. I could turn you into the most badass medic nin, that is if you have determination. She smirked as the girl nodded furiously. Mwahaha, Kanaha is going to bow to my students. Ha ha ha, she laughed evilly as the others just sweat dropped. What do you mean that what Tsunade is capable of is child's play? She's the best known, Kakashi said as he finally composed himself. You all know that once your spinal cord breaks, you'll be in a wheelchair forever, right? Tsunade can't help you, Naruto spoke up. They looked at him and then, well, the league's medical ninjutsu is so advanced that they are able to heal it as good as new. You could also go back to being a ninja, he finished. They looked at the girl in awe. Well then, let's stop the chit-chat and start training. And then they went their separate ways. They stayed in the land of waves for about a week, and the bridge was completed. Zabuza and the fake hunter Nin came back but were killed along with Gato. Team 7 was on its way to the village when Miley spotted something. They went to check it out, and sure enough, it was a ruin. Naruto, look at these markings. Don't they seem familiar? Yeah, it looks like the ones on the scroll for the Sky Islands. Wait, what? Sky Islands? And you guys can read this? Naruto asked. Naruto, I didn't know that you could read an ancient language, Kushina said with pride and a question. You're mistaken, Kushina-sensei. I don't know one ancient language. I know a total of 10 languages, he said and then noticed a piece of paper half buried in the ground. His eyes widened at what was on it. Nei-chan, look, we finally found it. Oh my god, after all these years, we finally found it, he yelled as he rushed over to her side. Now her eyes widened as she looked at the paper. OMG. It's real, it's really real. She yelled and screamed and held Naruto's hand and started to jump up and down. They were both dancing around while the others were just confused. I think we deserve an explanation for your weird behavior, Kakashi said. They looked at him as if to say, when the hell were you guys here? Sorry, it's just that, you know how me and Naruto love ancient artifacts and are always deciphering them, she questioned. They shook their heads. Really? I had no clue, Naruto said. Anyways, we found this legend in some of the scrolls that were connected to. If you want her to continue, you have to first promise that you won't tell anyone. That includes the Hokage, Naruto said sternly. Is it something bad? Kushina asked. No, it's our discovery, meaning no one has a right to claim it as theirs. They nodded and then continued. As I was saying, there were rumors in the scrolls about an island located up in the sky. We called it the Sky Island and wanted to see some kind of reassurance to know if it actually existed. This paper is a map of the island, telling us where exactly it is. It's what we've been looking for so long. They were surprised. An island in the sky. How cool is that, they all thought. Come on, we have to get back to the village. I want to study the map more. Just as they reached the gates, a member of the league came down towards Miley. The Jonin got ready to fight, but she raised her hand, saying it was alright. League language, my lady, it has been done. Same thank you. You are dismissed. The others, including the gatekeepers, just looked at her and questioned what weird thing she said. Miley, what did he finish? Did you tell him to do something? Naruto asked. Usually, he would know everything but was surprised he didn't know. That, lil bro, was your surprise. Let's go. I'll show you. You're all welcome to come if you want. They decided to follow her, wondering what she had for him. Naruto, on the other hand, was thinking of all the things she might have gotten him. He grinned happily as he held her hand. She smiled and then continued along. As they were on their way, Kushina spoke up, finally realizing something. Naruto, how did you know what that man said earlier? Do you know the language? He nodded his head but never looked at her. This saddened her. During their time in the land of waves, she could tell he had a lot of skill she had never taught him. Alright, Naru, I need you to close your eyes. He did as he was told but wanted to open them when he heard the others gasp. Now, open. Standing in front of him was a beautiful and stylish two-story house. It had a garden, and he bet the inside looked cool as well. OMG, it looks so nice. Wait, is this our new house? She nodded excitedly. Remember, I told you we would have the most envied house in Konoha. Remember? He hugged her and then pulled her inside so she could show him everything. The others followed in awe. It was the greatest house they had ever seen. Miley, did you build this? It's amazing. How was it done so fast? Kushina just looked around and had to just have a house like this one. Her son was really lucky to have a sister like her. It was during our time away. I had it done as an earlier birthday present for Naru. All in all, it was the most badass house they had ever seen. It was a couple of weeks after the C-Turn A-Rank mission. The Hokage was both proud and concerned when they told him, but the team continued to work on other missions. And guess what? Naruto and Hinata were finally a couple. Flashback. A week went by after their mission and Miley and Naruto were just lazing around their new house. They both didn't have missions and both didn't want to go out. They sat in front of the TV with containers of ice. Yes, it was a hot day and both wore tank tops and shorts. As they enjoyed their time, they heard a knock on the door. Opening it, it revealed both Hyuga sisters. Miley, nay. We came over to hide. It's so hot, and father wants us to train. It's not fair, pouted Hanabi. They all started to laugh. Well then, come on in. We weren't really doing anything. It would be nice to have company, right, Naru? She looked at her beloved brother, only to see him bright red in the face. Looking at Hinata, she saw the same. Man, can these two get any more obvious, she thought. She dragged the two girls inside and brought them to the living room. They were already used to the house, as they came often, much to the envy of others who would sell their soul just to get a glimpse inside. It was designed in a way they had never seen. Some even tried to sneak inside the house when it was empty, only to have a life-threatening experience of a lightning-filled barrier around the house that sent most to the ICU and others into a coma for a couple of months. They learned not to pry into the sadistic girl's and her brother's life. Heck, even the council demanded entry, only to be shut down as she pulled out a law saying it was forbidden for such tactics to be used. Yes, Miley had memorized every law in Konoha. Anyways, as they sat and decided to dim the lights and watch a movie, Miley motioned to Hanabi, and understanding, they left, not before whispering to her brother to have confidence and get it over with. The two left were in an awkward silence until Naruto finally broke it. Hinata, I need to tell you something. For a while, a really long while, actually. I've seen you as more than a friend, and I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say. He was cut off with hands wrapping around him. He looked up and saw the girl hugging him. He hugged her back and whispered the 3 words she longed to hear. The 3 words that he always wanted to say. I love you. Just as those words were said, Miley and Hanabi had jumped out of their hiding places and hugged the newly formed couple. They were both happy for their siblings, but the happiest were the couple. End of flashback. Team 7 was called by their senseis. They were waiting for them at the usual training ground. Just then, a yelling redhead and a tearing masked man came to them. I'm glad that you're all here. We called you all here because both Kakashi and I believe that you're ready for the upcoming Chunin exams. They will commence in 2 days. Here are your entrance papers. If you don't want to apply, it's up to you. You are now dismissed until the exams, Kushina finished. They took their pieces of paper and were going to walk off. Hey guys, why don't we go get something to eat and talk about the strategies that we're gonna use? You're all entering, right? Naruto asked. She wanted it to be an excuse to spend time with her brother. Sasuke looked at Naruto, who nodded his head, and then they followed her to barbecue. Sakura also followed, having somewhat lost her fangirl ways, but would still follow her Sasuke-kun. Seeing that their team was bonding, the two senseis looked happy. Hey, why don't we treat you guys as our last day as a student-teacher team, Kushina said as she followed with a tired Kakashi trailing along. Once they reached there, they saw the other rookie teams there eating together, so they decided to join. When the waitress came, she took their order and glared at Naruto, something that didn't go unnoticed by the people there. What's her problem? Why does she hate you so much? Asked a confused Kiba. The others wanted to know too, but the Jonin knew, so were wondering what the boy would say to cover it up. Imagine their surprise when they heard him say, because these idiotic buffoons think that I'm the 9-tailed fox when instead I'm the Jinchuriki, a vessel the Hokage used to seal it in to save the village, he said calmly. Why did you say it? It's a village secret, Asuma said. Naruto just looked at him and glared. If it's so much of a secret, then why do they all know? Don't make me laugh, but then wouldn't that make you a hero or something? That's just plain ridiculous, Kiba said. The others had the same thoughts as well, which made the older Jonin swell with pride. Pride that they weren't corrupted by the other villagers. They tried to comfort him, but, I don't need your pity, and with that, they stopped. As they were talking amongst themselves, Minato walked in and joined them. They felt honored that the Hokage sat with them, and he congratulated them on their entrance to the Chunin exams. The waitress came back with Team 7's food and, not noticing the Hokage, was about to throw Naruto's food at him. Leaking out a killer intent, he said. Think about throwing that food, and I'll make sure to show you what kind of demon I am. She gulped and, handing him his food, hurried away, much to the amusement of the others. Do they always do this? Kakashi asked softly. Only when I'm not with Miley, he said as he continued to eat his food. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, why are you letting the villagers treat your son like trash? I mean, he has to have told you at one point, right? Kurane asked. She didn't understand how their beloved leader let this continue. He and his family looked away in shame. They continued to eat their food again, and the lively chatting began again. Just then, Koji tried to take some of Naruto's food, but his hand was slapped away with a bit too much force. Don't take any of my food, or else you'll die. They just looked at him in surprise. They thought he was friends with Koji, but then maybe that wasn't the case. Hey now, no need for threats, Asuma began. It wasn't a threat. There's poison in my food, and if he ate it, he would have died. I don't want the few people I respect dead. Then, he continued eating again. What? They all yelled in unison. His food was immediately sniffed by Kiba, who declared that there was indeed something disgusting that smelled in there. He looked at him, wide-eyed, as to how he ate it so casually. What do you mean there was poison in the food? How could you eat it? How are you still alive to begin with? Why didn't you say anything? Minato yelled. Naruto just sobbed, thinking that her brother was going to die any minute now. Kushina already went to the kitchen, and there were unpleasant noises. The Jonin and the rookies minus Suzuki and Hinata, since they now knew the story, were beyond shocked and looked at the boy with a bored expression. There were onlookers now, and even people in the streets were pouring in. He frowned because now he couldn't eat in peace. You know, the only reason I came along was to help in making team combinations, not this. To answer your questions, 1. I ate because I was hungry, 2. I'm immune to poison, so they could add as much as they could, and 3. I did tell. There are record files in the hospital that showed that it was extracted after I was in a coma for about 4 months. I didn't expect you to notice since when I told you, I was slapped and told to go to my room for lying. Hokage-sama, I really apologize for what they both said. I'll teach them some manners later. He bowed, and the Hokage was speechless. The Hokage knew it was true. He had put Naruto on the same team as his wife and daughter so they could get closer to him, but he never did the same for himself when he was younger. Every word those two said to him was the truth. Well, I came because of Naruto, so I'll leave. Since everyone seems to be insulting the Hokage's family, I guess I'll say something too. I don't quite know why you people are still alive, or even why this village is still standing, especially since he could have released it any time he wanted. I know I would have just to make these ungrateful idiots pay. Suzuki stood and left. One by one, they all left quietly, until it was only the Hokage and his family, all still in shock. 2 days later, Team 7 walked to take the Chunin exams. Once they reached the building, they began to go up the stairs. When they reached the second floor, they saw a genjutsu in place and people wanting to get in the door, thinking it was the room. The 3 of them started to go up the stairs to the 3rd floor. Hey, where are you guys going? The room is right there, Naruto said. Seriously, I thought you were trained by the Hokage and his wife, and yet you can't tell that's a genjutsu, Sakura mocked her. Sakura stopped being a fangirl after hearing Naruto's story and, like the rest of the rookies, hated Naruto and her family because of what they did to Naruto. Naruto just huffed and started to go up after them. When she reached the top, she was met with her mother and Kakashi. What took you so long, they asked, as the rest of her team was in front of them. She fell for the genjutsu downstairs, Sakura said mockingly. The other 2 began being a bit closer to her since she matured, saying they liked her better now. We couldn't just leave her there since all team members have to participate, Suzuki said, earning a nod from Naruto. Naruto, however, couldn't believe they were going to leave her. Anyway, good luck on the exams, Kakashi said and then shooshined away. Kushina looked at them. Yes, do your best. That's all that matters. She smiled at them and then left, but not before looking sadly at her son, who wasn't looking at her at all. Once they were inside, they were met with different killing intents, but one from both Naruto and Suzuki made them tremble in fear. They walked in and sat down. As they did, the rest of the rookies came to them. Hinata gave him a kiss on the cheek and hugged him, which he returned. They truly were happy together. He turned to Shikamaru and Koji. I wanted to thank you guys. I heard what you said to the Hokage and his family. Thanks, it means a lot. No prob, Naruto, munch, it was the truth. Anyway, Koji said as he ate his pack of chips. It was troublesome, seeing the Hokage in a good mood all the time, thinking he could just mend things together, Shikamaru said. You're starting to sound like a sadist. I hope Miley isn't rubbing in on you, Hinata said. The 4 were really good friends, some could actually say like family. Naruto had already heard what Suzuki said and thanked him before. 1 week later. The week went by quite fast for the remaining 10 competitors. For Team 7, only Naruto, Suzuki, and Naruto advanced. Sakura didn't, so Kakashi trained with Suzuki while Jiraiya trained with Naruto since Kushina was a bit busy helping with the exam preparations. Minato asked Naruto, seeing that he didn't have someone to train him, if he would accept his help in training, but was refused, saying he would train alone. Flashback. Naruto was on his way to the Hokage's office. He was told by the Umbu that the Hokage required his presence. Honestly, he didn't know why he was being called into the office, but he didn't like being in his presence, so he decided to finish it up real quick. Once he entered the office, he saw his family, along with Jiraiya and Tsunade. He looked at them with a bored expression and sighed. This was definitely going to be a long day. Hokage-sama, I was told you summoned me, he asked. Ah yes. As you know, the Chunin exams are in a week, and all the remaining genin have teachers, and so it has come to my attention that you don't. That's why I asked Jiraiya to help you in this week. Yeah, Gaki, you'll even be able to sign a contract with the Toads. He also wanted to repair his relationship with Naruto, so giving him a contract like his sister was the best way. Isn't that great, Sachi, you get to have a summoning, Kushina exclaimed. Ignoring all of them, he turned to Tsunade and smiled. She went to him and hugged him. It's nice to see you again, brat. I see you still have that cursed necklace, she smiled at him. Hey, I like this cursed necklace. I never take it off, and it's nice to see you too, Tsunade-sama. The others just looked at them in shock. What was going on? Hey, you guys actually have a good relationship, Jiraiya said. Don't lump me in with you people. I might not be in this village most of the time, but I did give him that necklace as a birthday present. Unlike you people, I don't do favoritism, she said proudly. Anyways, I don't want your help, Jiraiya-san, nor do I want your summoning. Tell me why would I want a contract weaker than the one I already have, he said in a monotone. This got a chuckle from Tsunade. The others were just wide-eyed at his refusal. What do you mean? There are no creatures that are stronger than the toads except that, OMG? Which of the two do you have? More importantly, when and who gave you the contract, he exclaimed. Now this got the others confused. What exactly was he talking about? You'll see what creature I have in the exams. And for who gave me, my sister did. She gave it to me during my first birthday party when I was 6. If that is all, then can I please leave now? I want to go prepare. Nii-san, if I give you back the title of clan heir, would you come back to our family? Please, Naruto begged. All she wanted was her brother back. Why was the universe so unfair? Yeah, you'll become the heir again. I admit that it was a mistake on our side. We didn't train you so there was no way you could have been strong. Please, we'll do anything for you to come back, Kushina pleaded, along with her husband. No, we already had this discussion before, and I don't want to be clan heir, not anymore. And you points to Naruto. We made a deal that if I won during the academy exam, then you'll leave me alone. Are you trying to tell me that you're a liar? Now if that is all I'll be leaving, turns to Tsunade. If you're going to be staying here for a while, you're welcome to stay at my house. I'm on my way there now. Oh, I didn't know you live alone now. Is it a great place? I want my stay to be comfortable, she said jokingly. Actually, my sister and I live together, but she's going on a mission sometime today. I think you'll like her, and for the house, let's just say that it's the greatest house in the entire village, to the point that the council kept bothering her to show them in. We have plenty of room, he said as they walked towards the door. Wait, can't you at least give me a hint of who you're contracted with? Jiraiya pleaded. He just had to know. It was killing him inside. Serena Sheen was all he said and then walked out the door. End of flashback. So since then, Tsunade and assistant Shizun were living with both Naruto and Miley, and they hit it off immediately. They liked each other and were quite comfortable in each other's company. They were shocked when they first came to the house as it was the most beautiful thing they had ever seen and felt happy that they were the few people to actually see it. He was originally going to be trained by his sis, but she had to go on an urgent mission. But she promised to be there for his match. So with the help of a few pointers from Kurama, he was set not like anyone was going to beat him. Anyway, he was happy. He was finally going to show all his strength. Not enough to kill, though. He also managed to change his name to Uzumaki legally. The competitors were all in a secluded area. There were a total of 4 cages excluding IWA. Welcome, everyone, to the Chunin exams. I would like to congratulate once again the genin that have passed the preliminaries, and good luck, the Hokage said and then sat back down in the cage booth. Genma, the proctor, came into the arena and called out the first match. Niji Hayaga vs Hinata Hayaga. They both came into the arena and were in their stances. You should just give up, Hinata. You don't want to be humiliated. You're pathetic and weak and shouldn't even be heiress, he mocked. Hayashi just smirked. He knew that Hinata was weak and completely agreed with Niji. He was going to make Hanabi heiress after she lost to Niji. His wife saw this and also smirked. Prove them wrong, Hinata. I know you can. Hanabi was just laughing. Her father just looked at her and was curious when she said, Niji is in big trouble. Back in the arena, the proctor yelled begin and then backed away. Niji began to attack, and Hinata went on the offensive but hit the ground with one of his attacks. Proctor, end this match. I don't want to damage the precious Hayaga heiress, he said with venom. He definitely hated the main family. Hinata, someone called out from the audience. They turned to see and soon enough saw Miley sitting on the edge of the rail with a piece of cake. She looked at the girl in the arena and smiled. Did you forget? It's the Chunin exams. Remember. With a face of realization of what she said, Hinata stood back up, and the once timid and shy girl looked confident and had a smirk on her face. Niji, you disappoint me. You think being a prodigy means everything goes your way. Well, let me tell you this, you might think that I'm praised and loved by my father, but I'm just a mere disgusting Hayaga to him who doesn't deserve to live. She then disappeared out of sight and appeared right in front of him, shocking everyone to the point Hayashi even stood up, eyes widened. She then began her attack and completely defeated him. At the end of the match, there lay Niji, who, although defeated, wasn't all that badly injured. He looked up at her face, and to his shock, she looked at him with remorse. She kneeled down beside him, and as she began healing him, she said, I know why you hate the main branch, and I know that if I told you that I'm sorry, you won't accept it. But what I told you earlier is true. My father thinks I'm not fit to be clan heir and wants to give it to my younger sister. But we made a deal, a promise to one another, and I want you to also be a part of our plan. What are you talking about? You just beat me, so why wouldn't he see you fit? What is this plan dash? SHH. Not so loud. I don't like the way our clan deals with things. A branch family, really? We're all Hyaga, meaning we're all family, so why should one side of the family be treated as slaves and the others as royalty? We want to change that. I'm not strong enough right now to challenge my father. Looks at her if she is crazy, but when I am, I'm going to make him regret everything he did. Right now, I didn't really want to beat you, but for you to help, I needed a way to reach you. So please, will you help me? She looked at him with pleading eyes as she just finished healing him. He didn't know what to say. He was beyond happy. But something still bothered him. What about the seals? Do you know how to remove them? Not quite yet. I'm still in the process of learning, but I'm almost finished learning. So are you in? He nodded and then was taken away by the medical nin. Miley began cheering like a mad person, saying that the Hyaga just got served, and once Hinata reached the secluded area of the competitors, she was met with stares of fear and respect and a kiss from Naruto. The next match went underway. Shikamaru vs Temari. Match was like anime. The next match, however, got some people on the edge of their seat. Mako, Sound, vs Naruto Uzumaki. They both went to the arena and took to their fighting stances. You ready to lose, little boy? Cause I'm going all the way, the Sound nin said. Yeah, whatever. Let's just start. He looked at the proctor. Right, and begin, he yelled and then stepped away. Cage box. The Hokage from the other villagers looked at the match that was about to begin. It looks like your son is about to start his battle, Hokage. I hope he gives us a nice show, the Kaze Cage said. I heard that he was able to take down his opponent in a single move during the preliminaries. You must have taught him well, the Mizu Cage, May, said. They then heard a slight chuckle, and there they saw the one and only Raz Al Ghul, sitting on the ledge. The cage's bodyguards took their positions, but were dismissed by the Hokage. Why are you here, Raz? Why I came to see my son fight, of course. Now this got the other cages looking at him with confused looks. Your son? Who is he exactly? The Raikage asked. Why, he's fighting right now, look. They look and still see the Hokage's son. But he's the Hokage's son. Nope. If you call a parent someone who completely neglects their child for their other to the point that you let the idiotic villagers have their way with him, then yes, that is a respectable parent. They all looked at the Hokage with shocked eyes. I tried to apologize, I did. Minato started. Oh please. If my daughter didn't save him that night, you know very well what was going to happen. Forget this, just pay attention to the match. It started. Back to the arena. Mako started to charge at Naruto with her fist, but he dodged it along with all the other attacks that she tried to hit him with. Why don't you just stay still and die? And to everyone's shock, he summons a machine gun and points it right at him. This brings a shock of gasps towards the audience. They don't hate him anymore since he is the Hokage's son, since it's known that you can't dodge a bullet. Do you really think that I'm scared of your little toy? Don't push your luck. He looked at him with a lazy eye. Naruto, run away, she's going to kill you. Naruto, forfeit before it's too late. These were heard throughout the audience. But one voice stood above all. Oi, Naruto. Show that sloppy pipsqueak who you are. This voice no doubt belonged to Miley. Are you out of your mind? My son can't win against Kushina began. Glares, do you have so little faith in your son? You people really do disgust me. She then turned back to the arena. Bang 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 bang. This is what was heard throughout the area, and it went deathly silent, and then gasps were heard. There, standing in the middle of the arena, was Naruto, and between his fingers were the 4 bullets that were shot. Everyone's eyes bugged out, except those who knew, and stared at him in disbelief. What are you? You just caught them. You're supposed to be dead. Mako yelled, but was visibly shaken. Oh, so you wanted to kill me. Why don't I show you how it's done? He disappeared from his sight and then appeared right in front of him. Do you want to know the most simplest way to kill? Goes behind his back. It's to snap one's neck. Snap asterisk was then heard. There lay the Sound nin, dead, with a twisted neck. Winner by death, Naruto Uzumaki, the proctor yelled. There were no cheers, no applause, no boos, just a deathly silence. Naruto just casually walked back up to where the other genin were and stood there. He got a little nod from his father, Raz, and a happy cheer from his sis. Hinata walked up to him and gave him a hug and congratulated him. Other than that, everyone just stared at him with fear. Nni-san, why did you kill the nin? Don't you feel bad, or any remorse? Naruto asked before the next match started and gathered enough courage. Everyone was waiting for his response. That wasn't my first kill, so no, and if you can't kill then there is no point of you to becoming a ninja. This is what we do. Then focused on the next match that was underway. This got him a nod of pride from the ninja and clan heads, as there was someone who finally understood what being a ninja was. After Naruto's match, the other matches started to get underway. Miley was hanging out with him, telling him about what happened to her earlier with the Cursed Council. She never liked them, especially the Civilian Council, who thought they could control the shinobi as they wanted. But nope, she would shut them down each time, much to the amusement of the clan heads. Flashback. Miley was told by a couple of Umbu that the council had summoned her. She sighed, as she hated them with a passion. They would nag her on teaching and training the shinobi, but every time she would refuse. They just don't know when to give up, do they? When she arrived in front of the door, she sensed that they were waiting for her, so she made her dynamic entry by kicking down the door and saying as she walked towards them, "Okay, what do you bag of bones want right now? I don't know if you've realized, but the Chunin exams are in progress, and I have my brother to watch," she said in an angry voice. The clan heads didn't take offense of this, since everyone in the room knew she was referring to the Civilian Council and the two advisors. "Young lady, you will address us with respect dash." "Oh, shut up, already, would ya? Now tell me, what do you want? Time's money, ya know, or are ya gonna pay me?" she asked with a smirk. "Let's not get off track, now. We called you here of the progress of my son," Nara dash the Hokage began, but she abruptly cut him off with a glare. "You lost the right of calling him that a long time ago, and if it's about him, then I guess Kakashi already told you that I trained him. Seriously, does he have to tell you everything?" "Of course. You should tell must everything as well, it is your duty as dash a civilian began. Are you trying to tell me that I have to tell you what kind of underwear I wear each morning? Man, no wonder this place is weird. They have a bunch of weirdos running it." This earned her a couple snickers. "We're getting off topic here. We want to know why you trained him." "Because he asked me to. We asked you to train our shinobi and you refuse, but you trained the demon dash." The civilian was cut off with a blade at his throat. "Say some piece of shit about my younger brother again, and I swear I'll put this sword right through your chest. Do we have any understanding?" she said with venom, and he weakly nodded. She turned to the others and said, "That goes for everyone else in here. Call him a demon brat again, and I will level this village to rubble and blood." She removed the blade from the councilman and sat back down on her seat. "Why are you defending him?" Danzo spoke out. "What do you mean? Be more specific." She narrowed her eyes at him. "Everyone in this village hates him and yet you defend him. You aren't related to him by blood, but yet you call him your brother. Why, wouldn't it be easier to just side with us and remove him?" She looks at him and smirked evilly, which confuses everyone. "Let's get something straight here, little boy, because the both of us know what's up your sleeve." He paled in shock. "So yeah, let's not forget who the more superior one is," she said, sitting back down, gaining shocked looks from everyone present, including to guarding shinobi. She had just mocked the war hawk and he listened to her. They all had the same thought. The world is going to end. I believe that no one should feel lonely in life. This village has caused a big mistake. Calling him the demon brat, why? Because he saved their lives? Because if it wasn't for him, the entire village would be down under? This pathetic for an excuse village. You're going to train my daughter? But why? Well, I have to admit that she was really annoying in her fangirling over Mikado's youngest, but after that, we were okay. I mean, she has great chakra control, I just need to get her chakra reserves a bit bigger. Right now, they're really pitiful, really. Is that all? I guess I'll take my leave." She stood up to leave but was stopped by Danzo. "If you hate this village so much, then why are you still here? Or better yet, why not destroy it?" Gasps and murmurs were heard throughout the room, but they stopped when she said, 7 years I held back my anger and my desire to destroy it, and I didn't because one person told me not to," she said as she began to walk out. "Who?" Choza asked. "Naruto Uzumaki, your demon brat, told me not to. He even managed to hold back my father all these years. Honestly, he has too big a heart for such a disgusting place." They all looked down in shame. The same boy that they all hated had held back the scariest organization from bringing them to their knees, and yet they tortured him. "Wait, one more question," Jiraiya asked. People looked at him for his sudden outburst. "Really, again? Last question, what do you want?" Serena Shina, who is she? She glared at him and sent out a killer intent. "How do you know that name? What are you after?" she said as she held him by the collar and lifted him into the air in a split second. "Nothing, I swear. Just put me down." She put him down. "I asked Naruto if he wanted to sign the Toad contract and he said no, that he already had one. When I asked what animal, he didn't say, just the name as a hint. So do you know?" "Of course I do, I was the one who gave it to him. It was my most prized possession, along with my sword. As for who Serena Shina is, she's my mother." With that, she shunshined out. End of flashback. "So that's what happened," she said, finishing the story for Naruto. "Whoa, sis, you really hate them, don't you?" Crazy as hell. The next set of competitors was finally announced, and now it was the match that many were waiting for. Naruto Namikaze vs Naruto Uzumaki. There were cheers and wild screams from the crowd. The children of the Hokage were going to fight, and they knew it was going to be big. Kushina went white and pale at the thought of her two children fighting. Naruto just looked at her brother, somewhat afraid. He saw this and didn't quite care, just jumped down to the arena, and she did the same. Alright then, the same rules apply as the previous matches. Now begin, the proctor yelled and then jumped away. Nii-san, get ready cause I'm gonna break every single bone in your body and then bring you back home, she said as she took her fighting stance, as he did the same but didn't say a word. They both plunged forward, and the battle began. The audience looked on in awe. Neither one of them was backing down, but those who knew Naruto knew he was just playing with her. Miley just sat there with her signature cake and happily ate it, without a care in the world, much to the annoyance of others. Don't you care about the battle? I thought that Naruto was your younger brother, Kakashi asked, as the rest of the Jonin, clan heads, and Kushina listened. Of course, Kakashi, but he's just playing with her. This isn't a battle worth watching. Ha ha ha, you people haven't even seen 30% of his actual power, she said as she happily munched on her cake. Just then, they saw Naruto summoning a toad, and that's when they thought it was over. Oh, how wrong they were. You can't possibly think he can win now. He doesn't have a contract last I knew. On the contrary, he does. I gave him my mother's contract. Returning to the match, Naruto had just summoned a toad. Just give up, Nii-san. I don't want to hurt you. Again, she was ignored, so she attacked head-on but didn't see where her brother went. Where did he go, she thought. You know, you're quite persistent that it almost makes me want to kill you. Do you really think that you could defeat me? You really are the arrogant and naive little girl I used to know, he said as his voice was projected everywhere in the arena, sending chills down everyone's spines. Well, almost everyone. Well, he did hate her a lot. I bet the calling of demon brat from the villagers was all her fault, too, Miley stated. Excuse me, are you telling me that it was Naruto that started it? That's just absurd, Kushina yelled. You see, that's the thing. You guys were too busy doting over your precious daughter that you didn't notice that your son didn't have a lot of friends, save a few, because she told them not to be friends with him. That's a lie. Naruto would dash but she was cut off by Shikamaru. No, it's true. All eyes were on him. Naruto told everyone not to be friends with him if they wanted to be friends with the hero of the village, so naturally, everyone listened. Chuji, Hinata, and I didn't. Hinata, because she had a crush on him, me, because I didn't want troublesome women telling me what to do in life, and Chuji, because he sticks with me, has a kind heart, and saw the whole thing as an idiotic thing. Later on, Hanabi joined after she took a liking to Miss Sadistic over there. He points to Miley, who gives a grin and a thumbs up, so that was our little circle. No one entered it, and no one left. He yawned and closed his eyes. The parents of the said children beamed with pride for what their children did while the others looked away in shame. As Naruto tried to locate her brother, she was met with an unexpected kick, which sent her flying off the toad's back. Naruto was then attacked by the toad with a sword, only to take out his own and defeat it. Jiraiya stood up from his position near Minato as he too was shocked. Naruto had just defeated one of the mightiest animals as if it were nothing. They heard a loud laugh, and everyone in the cage box turned and looked at Roz, who had tears in his eyes. Man, you guys should have seen yourselves. It was hilarious, he said between laughs. Naruto, along with the Jonin and other genin, were also shocked that Naruto was able to defeat a summoning. Well, now that there are no summonings, let's finish this on our own, Naruto said, grasping for the last straws of her pride and dignity. Although she loved her brother and wanted him back, she also wanted to win and show her strength to him. Just because your summoning left, don't think that I won't bring out my summoning, he smirked evilly. At this, she visibly paled. He looked at the cage box, more directly at Jiraiya. You want to know my summoning? Watch closely. With that, everyone was on the edge of their seats, wondering what else the son of their beloved leader had up his sleeve. Jiraiya was waiting in anticipation. He bit his thumb and did the hand seals. Summoning jutsu, he yelled, and then there was a puff of smoke. After the smoke cleared, the faces of everyone in the stadium paled, and the blood in their bodies drained. Standing before them was a gigantic blue dragon that filled more than the entire stadium. There was total silence until they heard uncontrollable laughter from the audience and the cage box from both daughter and father. They had waited for this day for so long, just wanting to know how the others' faces were. Naru, bro. That was hilarious, Miley yelled out to her younger sibling. Young Naruto, I believe you have summoned me for a reason, the dragon said. Ah yes, as you can see, Shin, it's the Chunin exams, and I'm in the middle of a battle. You up for a fight? You are much more capable of handling this against such a puny, weak human, my boy. I don't see why I should intervene, but if you want me to, then I shall burn the entire stadium. You could have also summoned Kuruma and given them a scare. Haha, how I would wish to see that. Yeah, but you see, I wanted to show you off in a way after someone insulted you. What? A human dares to insult me. I am the king of all dragons. My boy, tell me who this person is. I shall toast them alive. Looking at Jiraiya, the old man pleaded for him not to rat him out. Oh, how unfortunate. It's the white-haired man over there, he pointed at the said man. The dragon turned to the people at the cage box, who, if it were possible to get even paler, did. You insolent human. You dare mock me. You shall pay for such treachery. But because you are friends with the toads, your life has been spared at the moment. Do it again, and it shall be your last. He turns to the audience, and you other insolent humans. You dare make my dear friend cry and live a life of misery. You are lucky that he has such a kind heart, otherwise this village would be buried in ashes. Harm him again, and you shall pay, despite his pleas. He looks at Miley. Hello there, my child. I hope you are doing well? She nods. That is good. If they bother you, just tell me. I shall make it that they will feel pain even in their death. He looks at the circle. Oh, I remember you little children, I hope you are all friends. Enough with the chit-chat. Shall we finish the job, Naruto? I surrender. Please don't do anything, Naruto pleaded. She wanted to win, but if it meant death, then live to fight another day. Pathetic humans, and then he disappeared in smoke. Naruto just looked at her and said with disgust, You surrender. Is this how all the students of the Hokage are all this week? You haven't showed me anything, and if that was all you had, then Shin was right to call you a pathetic weakling. You, my very own sister, were the first person to call me a demon, and guess what? I planned on showing you what kind of demon I am. He towered over her with a sword in his hand, as she sat scared to move as she saw the sword descend on her. Then she saw blood. Everyone was deathly silent as they saw the scene in front of them. Naruto looked at the blood running down his sword and cursed. At the last minute, Miley, with her inhuman demonic speed, had stopped the blade from hitting the shock-stricken girl with her bare hand and watched as her blood ran down the sword. He just looked at her and sealed his sword away. I wasn't going to do it, you know. I know, but it was a close call. Come on, the match is over, and you won. Let's go watch the other matches. Okay, he nodded and looked at her bloody hand. He felt guilty. The hand that was so gentle towards him while the others always wanted to harm him, and yet he had harmed it. Taking it into his own, he began healing it, getting gasps from the shinobi of, he knows medical ninjutsu. I'm sorry, he said, looking down. It's alright, okay, it wasn't your fault. Cheer up, brother. She ruffled his hair. From the cage box, they heard a yell. Naruto, you did well, Roz said. Arigato, Tou-san, he said, grinning, getting looks of confusion and shock from the others. Those three just began talking as if the others didn't even exist. League language honestly though, you should have harmed her, even if it was a little, Roz said. Same asterisk hey, don't say such things. Do you want the council on our backs? Same I too wanted to hurt her, even if she got nightmares of me, it would be good enough for me. But I guess I don't want the council knowing, huh? We're still here, you know, and we would like to start the next match, the proctor said. They said their sorries and walked off. After that, the entire village was afraid of the young boy, in fear of him getting revenge on them for what they did to him, especially because of the people and creatures he knew. Oh, they don't know how right they are. He was going to make them relive a nightmare, but not now. Soon. Very soon. It all went wrong so fast. The peaceful and unknown Waistchinen exams had gone downhill right after a genjutsu went into action, and then all hell broke loose. Roz, not caring for the leaf and knowing his children were capable of holding their ground, left. The Oto and Suna Nin started attacking while the leaf shinobi defended. Naruto went against Gaara, and when the boy let Sheikaku take over, it was then he decided to reveal his tailed beast mode, frightening many who were there that night. In the end, he was defeated and went back to Suna with his siblings. Miley put aside her hatred for the Hokage and his wife and helped in taking down the revived brother Hokage as she dealt with Orochimaru. The end result dealt with her killing the snake pedo and the brothers being freed and sealed again. The battle had been won, and now the rebuilding of the village started. We now see our lovable blonde and brunette walking to the most dreaded place known well, for Miley, the council meeting. This is definitely going to be a very long and boring meeting, Miley exclaimed as they almost reached the room. Come on, sis, we just answer some of the questions, otherwise tell them to get lost and then we leave. Besides, didn't you say that you had something important to discuss with them? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I hope Mikato is there. Then they entered the room. They were met with the clan heads that made up the Shinobi Council, the Civilian Council, and the Hokage. There were also others inside the room, that included Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kushina, Naruto, Sasuke, Hinata, Shikamaru, and Mikado. They were all waiting for them both so that they could start the meeting. Okay, now that everyone is here, the meeting shall begin. Although the Chunin exams were interrupted by the invasion, there were a number of Genin that have proven to be capable of becoming Chunin, so I shall call them out and give them the title of Chunin, the Hokage said. He then called out the names of every Genin there, and they all became Chunin, including Naruto, which confused people. But no one wanted to feel Kushina's wrath of denying her daughter the title, no one except Miley, though. With all due respect, Hokage, but why are you making your daughter a Chunin? She lost her fight and let personal issues within the fight. Are you trying to say that my daughter is weak? Sure, she lost, but she showed great skill in fighting. I mean, Shikamaru surrendered his fight to. Kushina yelled. Troublesome, Miley, don't drag me into this, the lazy Chunin said. Sure, he did surrender, but he knew when to retreat and showed great tactical skills. Brute force won't get you far in the shinobi world. All I see is favoritism. Besides, I wasn't talking to you, woman, so keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to my wife like that. She was only saying what she thought, Minato said. She looked at him in disgust and said, then put your wife on a leash. Gasps, what, did I say something wrong? You let her say what she wanted, why can't I? Enough of this, you never answered my question yet. Yes, Naruto did not win her match, but that was because Naruto summoned a creature that she didn't know. Oh, so you think that everything should be known about an opponent when facing them? That's bullshit. Excuse me, yeah, that's right. All of this is just blatant favoritism. And don't you know that deception is a shinobi's greatest weapon? You wouldn't get far if you kept thinking like that. You're the Hokage. You can't play favorites to anyone. All while the Hokage and his wife were arguing with Miley, the others were just watching to their amusement. They too knew, well, the Shinobi Council and Danzo, that Naruto didn't deserve to be a Chunin, and what Miley said was true, it was blatant favoritism, but they couldn't say a word. So they were grateful that she had so much courage to say her mind and show how spoiled their daughter was. They all saw Naruto in a new light after he had defeated Gaara in his Sheikaku form. Anyways, your idiocy aside, why else did you call this meeting? I don't think I was gonna be made a Chunin. Well, we want you to train some of our shinobi. A councilman began. No. Since it has come to our attention the way you trained the three of them, so I said no. It would prove beneficial. What the hell is wrong with you? I said no, she yelled, fed up with them. Young lady, there is no need to scream, the female advisor said. No need to scream. I said no so many times, and you kept on going with your speech. Anyways, I said no before, and it's still no. Honestly, what is wrong with this village? Sometimes I wish I could leave. Then what's stopping you? Are you crazy? Do you want me to leave my brother to these pack of wolves? She pulls Naruto into a hug. I don't think so. Well, if there is nothing left then Minato began. Wait. There is something else. Oh, and what is that? I want to show evidence and proof that someone was framed for a murder he didn't commit. And who is that? Looking at Mikato, who gave her a nod of approval, she said. Itachi Uchiha. Flashback. It was late at night, and Miley was on her way to the graveyard in the Uchiha compound. She was going to visit the grave of her longtime friend, Shisui Uchiha. He, along with Itachi, were the first people to accept her as a friend when she first came to the village, and their friendship remained even after her time away from the village. They were put into Umbu and were the Hokage's favorite three-man squad since they worked well together. This changed when he started giving her intelligence missions alone. After hearing what the council did to her friend, she, along with Mikato, started gathering information. Hey there, Shisui. It's been a while, huh? I really don't know what to say. The council would probably hold a meeting tomorrow for the genin who turned Chunin. After they do that, I'm gonna put the drop on the whole Itachi killed his best friend thing cause I know he didn't. Mikato and I have been digging around and all, and I found out who really did it. I was right all along, you know. It was the creepy mummy. Anyways, I miss you a lot. The village just isn't the same without my two best friends. Then she heard someone coming and was about to hide but knew whose chakra signature it belonged to. Hey there, Itachi. I never knew you came here, she said as she still looked at the grave. Out of the shadows came out her best friend, Itachi Uchiha, the only other person to accept her as her and not fear her due to her father. Can't I come see an old friend, he replied. He was somewhat shocked to see her there at this hour. I guess, but people are saying that you killed this friend for power. You didn't kill him now, did you? She questioned him. He just looked at her and just couldn't understand a couple things. Why? He asked. Now facing him, she asked. Why what? Why are you doing this for me? Don't you know it's easier to just forget it and leave it be? Everyone already hates me, even my own family sees me as some power-hungry murderer, but you still believe that I didn't do it. Why? Your life would have been much easier if you just left it alone. I'm not the only one that believes that you're innocent. He looks at her confused. That's right, your mother also believes that you're innocent, Itachi. Besides, we found evidence that you were innocent, so just trust us, okay? She looked at him and saw the worried look in his eyes. After a long silence, he said, you could have gotten yourself hurt, or worse, they could have placed the blame of something you didn't do entirely on you. Don't you see that you're making yourself in danger? Why would you go so far for me? Because, Itachi, you were my first and still best friend. You stood by me when everyone else feared me, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. I would do anything for a friend. He didn't really want that answer and looked saddened by what she said. Half of him wanted to beat her up for being so oblivious of his feelings towards her, the other half just wanted to look at her and kiss her right there. So that's what he did. You're right. I guess I'll head home and try to process everything that just happened. See you tomorrow. Mikato smiled at the spot where the girl had just been standing. I wonder when I'll be a grandmother, she thought happily as she walked back home. End of flashback. And please tell us why we would want that traitor to return? He killed a fellow clan member, a person he considered a brother in all but blood, Fugaka said. I can't believe you have so little faith in our son. He didn't kill Shisui, and we have proof. Mikato countered. Then pray tell us who did? Tsunade asked. Danzo was the only word Miley said, her glare fixed on the man, who began to laugh nervously. And why would I do that? That's a grave accusation. Do you have anything to back it up, little girl? He said. Well then, seeing that you're so willing to cooperate, would you be a dear and remove the bandages on your eye? Miley replied. What absurdity is this? Everyone knows that Danzo is injured, a councilman yelled. Fine then, Miley said, turning to Hinata. Hinata, would you be a dear and use your Byakugan on him? Protests were heard and ignored. As Hinata did what her older sister figure asked, she gasped, making everyone wonder what she saw. Turn your eyes off, girl. There are no Kekkei Genkai allowed in the meeting rooms, Danzo yelled, losing his composure. What do you see, Hinata? Her father asked curiously. She didn't look at him, her attention still on Miley. He's not supposed to have an arm and an eye, right? She asked, getting a nod. Well, there seems to be chakra running through it, and it's similar to. Similar to what, Hinata? The Hokage asked. Similar to the Sharingan, a lot of Sharingan. Gasps were heard, and Danzo had enough. Root, kill all of them here, he yelled. Just then, 20 Root members jumped down, but were stopped midway, hanging in the air. Everyone, except those who already knew, was bewildered. They were snapped out of their trance by Miley. Do you honestly think that I wouldn't come prepared, Danzo? She said, looking at him with one hand in the air, her palm wide open, as Mikato stood behind her, smirking. You really underestimated us. Do you really think such lousy tactics would separate me from my son any more than you already have? You've got a lot of nerve, Danzo, she said with an intimidating voice. Say goodbye to your bodyguards. And with that, she closed her hand, and the members started coughing up blood and dying. Grab him, she said, snapping her fingers as 2 league members went behind Danzo and held him down. Miley, what is the meaning of this? Such things will not be tolerated, the female advisor said. Yes, people who blame the murder they committed on an innocent person is something that should not be tolerated. She turned back to the league members and Danzo. Remove his arm and the golden thing he uses to hide his arm. Actually, Miley, I think I'll enjoy doing that, Mikato said. Miley nodded, letting her, a grin on her face. Hokage-sama. You can't let them get away with this. They are violating a number of laws. Danzo yelled. Everyone turned to the Hokage for his decision. Sighing, he said, Miley is known for never telling a lie. She hasn't been wrong yet, so I'm willing to believe what she is saying is true. If any indication, order your men, which route should have been disbanded, to kill us. Once Mikato was finished, they were more than shocked to see what this man was hiding. In his eye was a Sharingan, and his arm was covered in more than 10 eyes. Fugaku was enraged. What is the meaning of this? He demanded. Dear, remember the couple of Uchihas that had disappeared or had mysterious deaths? Mikato asked him, and he nodded in understanding. Well, they were killed by Root, and he obtained their eyes. Even Shisui, but his story had a little twist. I think Miley would like to finish. But before so, aren't those Shisui's eyes? She asked, pointing to 2 of the eyes. They are indeed. He had a unique ability that made his eye different. Well, allow me to tell you what happened, Miley began as everyone listened. This was no ordinary meeting. Usually, the clan heads loved when the girl came to meetings because she would always put the civilian council in their place, and it was funny to watch. But this was entirely new. You see, Danzo had his men surrounding Shisui, and although he was badly outnumbered, he cut them down to less than half. But he was critically wounded, so he sent Itaki a secret distress signal. It was something the 3 of us usually carry when we go on missions together. I still don't know why he had it. Anyways, Itaki got the signal and went to help, but by the time he arrived, Danzo had already taken his eyes. Right behind him were some Umbu who felt a disturbance and went to check it out. Of course, Danzo said that Itaka did this so he could have Shisui's eyes and showed them the empty sockets. They believed Danzo, I don't know why, since it was the most stupid thing ever, and so Itake fled. At the end of the story, everyone felt betrayed by the man. What do you have to say for yourself, Danzo? The Hokage asked, visibly angered. Having nothing left to do, he answered truthfully, I did what was best for Konoha. Slap. A slap echoed through the room. They saw that the person who slapped him, with tears in her eyes, was none other than Mikato. For the good of Konoha. Don't kid yourself. You killed members of my clan, of my family, and lied about my eldest to the point his name was dragged through the mud, and you call it for the good of Konoha. He was outside all alone for something he didn't do, and you're so proud of it. You're lucky you're not going to die yet because I have something in store for you, she said, between sobs. Hokage-sama, if I may, I have a suggestion on what to do. But first, I think you should send some Umbu to retrieve Itachi, don't you think? Miley said, looking at the Hokage. He nodded and did just that. She went to Danzo and ripped out his arm, along with the Sharingan in his eye, and then sealed it within a scroll and gave it to Mikado. Danzo was taken away by the Umbu, and the meeting was adjourned. But before anyone left, they stayed to listen to the answer the Hokage asked Miley. Miley, what you did earlier, was that a Kekii Genkai? He asked. A part of it, yes. Why haven't you told me that you had a Kekii Genkai? Do you want to die? Is that a threat? No. It's just that if anyone finds out what my Kekii Genkai is, my father kills them immediately. Why is that? He asked suspiciously. Something about my past, okay? I don't like talking about it. Very well. But you have to face your past, you know. Sorry, Hokage, but I don't think I want to time travel, she said jokingly, and they all laughed as they left, Mikado and her high-fiving one another on their achievement. 2 days passed, and the Uchiha family, along with the Hokage and his family, Naruto, Miley, and a couple of Umbu, were standing in front of the gates of Konoha, waiting for Itachi to arrive. As they waited, some of the villagers passing by saw them and joined in waiting when they found out the truth, and soon, almost the entire village was waiting for their arrival. A message was sent to the Hokage yesterday saying that they would arrive the next day at noon. As they continued to wait, they saw 4 people coming into view, which were the 3 Umbu and the awaiting person. Finally reaching the gate, Mikado ran and tackled her eldest in a hug, despite his protests, much to the amusement of the others. Itachi Uchiha, as Hokage of the Konoha, I would like to apologize for being wrongfully accused of murder. You have my deepest apologies. It's all right, Hokage-sama. It was just a misunderstanding, that's all, he said, still holding on to his weeping mother. It's good to have you back, Nii-san, Suzuki said as he went to his brother, who smiled and poked his forehead, something that he always did. Itachi-sama is back. Please go out with me. I knew you were innocent. These were heard from the crowd of fangirls, all ages, and the rest of the villagers. Having enough, the Hokage told the Umbu to disperse the crowd, and they all left. Naruto left, saying he had a date with Hinata, and Fugaka left, saying he had important business to attend to. The only ones left were Itachi, Mikado, Suzuki, and Miley. You shouldn't have left, you know, Miley started, as she made her way up to him. You could have at least told me, and we could have done something. She hugged him, and he hugged back as he smiled. Pulling back, he saw an evil glint in her eyes. Even if the Hokage didn't believe you, I could have easily given him many persuasions to not doubt you. Bonk. You idiot, you can't beat up the Hokage. Have you lost your mind in the little time I was gone? Itachi said after he hit her head. Ow, why the hell do you always hit my head? Do you want me to get brain damage? She yelled. He just ignored her and walked away, secretly smiling. Hey, don't walk away from me. She walked after him, and when she caught up, he simply held her hand, smiled, and continued. Itachi, Gore, don't HN me. I had to beat your brother up since he would use real words. Staring into the sky, she continued, I also beat him up to get all that Uchiha pride out. Anyways, why are you holding my hand? I can walk, you know. Did you forget what I told you that night? What night? Oh, you know, I just remembered something. See ya, she said as she shunshined away. Does she honestly think that I'll let her go that easily? He sighed and then walked to his compound. All this while, Suzuki and Mikado were watching from afar, as Mikado giggled and Suzuki was finally understanding what was going on. Kaa-san? Does Nii-san like her? Yup. Your brother loved her since they were children, but she had to leave and then come back. I hope you're okay with it? Yeah, Miley is really nice and strong. But Kaa-san, she's very scary sometimes too, the boy said, shivering at the torturous training he had to go through. His mother just laughed. But why does he like her? I know she isn't a fangirl, but does she like him too? Well, you see, Miley is a very bright girl, and seeing that she used to play with Itachi when they were younger, she became a daughter I never had, and I became a second mother for her, after her mother died at a young age. She does like your brother, but she doesn't know it. It's why she says that they're friends. But why? Didn't Nii-san already tell her how he felt? He didn't think his brother was a coward. He looked confused when he saw his mother laughing really hard. Oh, he told her all right. But she thought he meant as a friend and said that she liked him too and then started naming other people she considered friends as well. You should have seen your brother's face. I don't believe I saw him that embarrassed before. Anyways, you see she's using this excuse of being friends as a shield from any harm coming to her. Why, I don't know. Besides, if you want to know why he likes her, just ask him yourself, she said as they finally reached their compound. It's been a week since he was back, and Itaki Uchiha was officially pissed. Why, you ask? Well, despite the fangirls running towards him, the one person he loved was doing the opposite, running away and was nowhere to be found. Walking through the streets of Konoha, he spotted Naruto and Hinata, who he believed were on a date. Knowing Naruto was the closest person to Miley in the village, he walked up to them and asked, "Hi there, Naruto, Hinata. How are you?" He smiled. "We're both fine, Itaka-san," Hinata answered. "Looking for Miley again, huh?" Naruto laughed. "Where the hell is she? Is she really avoiding me?" He scowled. Well, the last time I saw her, she was heading to the Hokage Tower, saying she needed to ask him something. But what you did to her really shook her up, you know," he said, a bit seriously. They looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "Well, what I mean is that after that night you kissed her, she came back a complete mess, muttering things like friends and can't like and whatnot. Then she started asking me a bunch of weird questions the next day like, is it normal for friends to kiss? It was really weird. All I know is that for whatever reason, something you have to ask her, she wanted you as a friend and built this mentality that you guys were only going to be friends." Pondering on what Naruto told him, he was brought out of his thoughts when Hinata asked, "We were summoned by the Hokage as well, do you want to come along? I believe she really is there. She kept saying that she needed to ask the Hokage for permission." "Thank you. I guess I will come along." When they finally reached the Hokage's office and opened the door, they were met with the faces of the Hokage and his family, Suzuki, Sakura and both their mothers, and Hinata's mother, as well as Miley. When Miley saw Naruto and Hinata, she smiled, but looking at who came with them, a scowl on their face, she froze and then turned a dark color red, as she quickly looked away. "Well then, Miley, now that everyone is here, why don't you tell us what was so urgent?" the Hokage said in a calm tone. Composing herself, Miley said, "Well, I guess I should get straight to the point. I want to take my 4 students out of the village for 3 years to complete their training." There was silence, and then, "What?" they all said. "Why would you need to do that? You were training them quite well inside the village?" Hitomi Hyuga asked. "Well, you see, there's something that I want to look for. Something my brother and I believe existed and still does. If I leave now, then their training would be incomplete, and I don't want to start from scratch again. Besides, it'll be giving them real-life experiences of the world outside. That's why I wanted to ask for your permission to leave, Hokage, and wanted permission from both the parents and students," she finished. "I want to go," Suzuki started. "I know the training that you made me go through was hell, but in about 2 weeks of being a genin with your training, I easily became a low chunin. If you think that leaving would help completing my training, then I'm in. Besides, you helped me, the least I could do is help you with your goal." He turned to his mother. "Can I go, Kaa-san?" "Well, if it's you, Miley, then I have nothing to worry about. I see you as my daughter, so you better keep both of you out of harm's way," she said, the ending bit a bit seriously. "Thank you, Mikato, I appreciate that. I've always seen you like a second mother," she said with a smile. Then Sakura spoke up, "I want to go too. Miley, you were the one who told me that I had great potential, that I wasn't weak, and you helped me in becoming someone confident with who I am. I'll go with you, and when we come back in 3 years, I'll be the most badass medical ninja around," she said as she pumped up her fist. Her mother just laughed. "I agree. Thank you for giving my daughter hope. You have my approval," she said, smiling calmly. "Thank you. I promise I won't let you both down." Then it was Hinata's turn. "Miley, you already know my answer." "Of course, I'll come. You're like an older sister to both me and Hanabi. I believe my daughter speaks for the both of us. You also brought confidence into my daughter after my foolish husband branded her weak, and I trust you. You have my approval." Turning to Naruto, "Why are you guys looking at me? The thing she's looking for is something we're both looking for. Besides, if you're not in the village, what exactly do you think I'll be doing?" "Nothing, of course. I'd probably die from boredom," he exclaimed as they all started to laugh. Turning to the Hokage to give permission, "Well," they agreed, "and honestly, I don't mind, but do you mind telling me what you're looking for?" he questioned. "If I told you now and couldn't find it, then I'd look like a fool. I'll tell you about it." "So, can we leave?" she asked anxiously. "All right, you may leave, but under one condition," he said, which stopped their celebrations. "And what is that, Hokage?" she questioned curiously. "I want you to take my daughter with you and train her as well." Looking at the said girl, they saw a smug look on her face, to which they all scowled at. "Damn spoiled brat. I'm sorry, Hokage, but I can't do that," she tried to be calm. Blinking, he asked, "And why's that?" "There are a number of reasons why I can't train her, but let me tell you the main ones. Firstly, she isn't my student, meaning that I would have to start from scratch." "But you trained them from scratch," Kushina exclaimed. "Yeah, but that's because they didn't have their family styles ingrained into them when they were younger. What you taught her will always be her normal stance. It's something that I can't undo. Secondly, I don't like her, she doesn't like me, we both hate each other. I hate spoiled, stuck-up brats. I had to beat him, she said, pointing at Suzuki, up to get rid of all the Uchihas are superior and you're all beneath me crap. I was almost going to beat her, she said, pointing at Sakura, for being such an annoying fangirl, if she didn't get out of it after my talk with her. Heck, I almost beat Hinata up for having such low self-esteem. Sorry, but no can do, Hokage. Besides, why do you need me to train her when you could ask Jiraiya or you could train her yourself? You've been doing that all her life, anyways, she finished. No, they looked at where the outburst came from and saw that it was from Naruto. I want you to train me. I demand that you do, or else I'll beat you up, she yelled. Everyone in the room burst into laughter at her. Kit, that girl is gonna get herself killed one of these days, Kurama said as he roared in laughter. You sure got that right, Kyu. Naruto, calm down. You shouldn't go trying to charge into a fight, especially one that you'll lose in, Kushina said, as she tried to calm her daughter down, but only made it worse. Ka-san, you don't think I could beat her? How could you? Your mother is only telling you the truth, Naruto. If you don't want to die, then stand down, Minato said. He and his wife had about enough of her whining, and it was about a week before that they learned that their daughter was really rotten. Flashback. Naruto, come down here. We need to talk, Minato yelled from the living room, as his wife sat beside him. Running downstairs, she came down, thinking that she was going to get something. Oh, how wrong she was. Yes, Tou-san, Ka-san, she answered. Is what Naruto said during your match true? Kushina questioned. I don't know what you mean, she said, sweating bullets. You know exactly what we mean, young lady. Did you call your brother a demon? Yes or no? Minato asked sternly. Yes, but I didn't mean to, really. He just got me angry, that's all. So you call him a demon and tell people not to be his friends? How is that justified? Your brother was beaten and hated by everyone in the village, and it's all because of you. What kind of daughter did I raise? Kushina wept. What do you have to say for yourself, young lady? I was sorry, okay, but he isn't coming back. He's only seeing that whore as a sister no, she said as tears started to form in her eyes, but was cut off. Slap. How dare you use such vulgar language? I neglected my son because we wanted you to defend yourself, since he had the Kyuubi in him, and yet he's the one that turned out well. I regret ever passing him over for such a foolish person, and yet you have the audacity to call names to the one person who could help us get our son back. You are no longer a Chuyunin. She was right. Better luck next time, Itake Naruto said as they left the office. Later that evening, Miley returned home to find her brother watching a movie on the couch. Welcome back, Nei-chan, he called out. Thanks, she mumbled in response. So, when are you going to stop avoiding Itake, he asked. She tried to change the subject, but he caught on quickly. Miley, stop trying to change the topic and just tell me. Aren't I your brother, he asked innocently. With a sigh, she finally gave in. So, what exactly do you want to ask, she said, taking a sip of her hot chocolate. Do you like him? The question nearly made her spit out her drink. Answer the question, Miles. Yes or no? Naruto, bro, he's the heir to his clan, a clan that literally hates me. When we were younger, I would always steal him away from his training to play. Later, when they found out who my dad was, they didn't want their heir to be stained by a demon's darkness, as they put it. Mikato was against them and thought he should enjoy his childhood, and since I was helping him do that, she defended me. Him being my friend was bad enough for his reputation, but, Miley, are you even listening to yourself? Naruto yelled, finally snapping. Why the hell do you care about those things? He doesn't care. He's the one that loved you first, not the other way around. I can't date him at all, okay? No matter what he thinks, he'll always be someone people look up to, and if he's dating someone like me, then, slap. She looked up at the person who slapped her, eyes wide. Naruto, with tears in his eyes, looked at her. Why do you think so lowly of yourself? Weren't you the one who told Hinata not to lose confidence in herself? Miley, you're kind, you're strong, you're beautiful, heck, you have everything a guy could ever want in a girl, and Itake is the same. Wasn't he your first friend? Wasn't he the one who stood up for you? When he looked at you, he saw you for who you are. Why can't you see him for who he is and not just as the heir of a clan or a prodigy? Can't you at least do that much, he said, his voice softening on the last sentence. Thinking back, she knew he was right and that what she was doing was selfish and wrong. So what should I do now, she sobbed. He looked at his sister and hugged her as she sat on the floor. He had never seen her this fragile and weak before. It just goes to show that even the strongest people sometimes have moments of weakness. You're going to first answer my original question. Do you love him? Yes, I do love him. Don't make me say sappy things. Good, because now you're going to toughen up, go to him, and apologize for avoiding him for the past week. Then you're going to tell him how you feel. Got it, he said with a hint of superiority in his voice. She looked at him and then blinked. Yeah, I think I'm going to sleep now, she said, beginning to run toward her room, but he pulled her back by the shirt. Miley, why don't you want to go? He sighed. I'm afraid, alright. What if he hates me? Or worse, what if it's a prank? Then I'll become. Miley, calm down, he said, shaking her. I think you're overthinking this. Just go tell him, and if he says no, then you have 3 years to forget it. You'll be 19 when we come back, and you'll be too old to cry over a rejection. Can't I just leave a letter? If he doesn't hate me, then I guess he'll come after us and tell me so. I watched that in a movie once. It was so romantic. She continued talking about it for some time before Naruto shoot her, telling her to get started on the letter. When she was gone, he called out, I hope you heard everything you needed to. Just remember, if she finds out about this, we'll both be dead, he told a figure in the shadows. Emerging, the now seen Itaka said, Don't worry, Naruto, it was kind of sweet of her to think those things about me. I guess I'll have to wait for the letter. But that was a bit dramatic. Was it really necessary to slap her? Whatever. She has to see that she isn't those things. Anyways, you'd better leave before she arrives. And with that, he left. The next day, everyone leaving on their journey was gathered at the gate with their parents. The only people they were waiting for were Miley and Naruto. Where are they? I hope they're on their way, Sakura said. Knowing Miley, I bet she slept in and threatened Naruto with something deadly, Hinata said as the others laughed. Another person missing was Itaki, and his family hadn't seen him all morning. Just then, they saw two figures running toward them, and sure enough, it was the two they were waiting for. Sorry about that, but someone glares at Miley, who looks away, decided that she wanted to sleep more and kill anyone who came between her and her sleep, Naruto yelled. Hey, you're the one who didn't wake me up properly, she shot back. I did, and then you threatened to. Actually, I won't say it. He looked away in shame. Anyways, everyone is here, right? Then let's go, she said. They all said their goodbyes and headed out the gate. After 5 minutes of walking, Miley's hand was suddenly stopped, making her turn around really fast since she was so focused on the map. She came face to face with an angry Uchiha. Hello there, Miley, he said calmly, but the anger was visibly shown. Gulping in fear, she covered her face with the map. Hey there, Itaki. Ha ha. How's life, she said awkwardly. Really, is that how you want to go on, he questioned. Sighing, she made a shadow clone and told the others to continue without her. When they were out of sight, she turned her attention to the person before her. Look, I know you're angry. Angry isn't the word, Miley. You avoided me for an entire week, and when you saw me, you ran away. Do you know how much that hurt? He looked her straight in the eye and said, Do you hate me that much? He said in a saddened tone. No, I don't hate you, She answered too quickly and then shut her mouth. You what, Miley, he said, knowing everything that had happened last night. He wanted to make fun of her for a bit. So now you don't want to see my face, he said as she was avoiding looking him in the eye. Well, you see, she started to fidget, cursing herself for being in this position. All the while, Itaka just wanted to laugh. I guess I know my answer, huh? Well, sore. Shut up, she yelled, startling him a bit. I don't hate you, damn it. I love you. There, you see, I said it for heaven's sake, she yelled. But she was met with a laughing and smiling face. I knew it. It was a prank. Well, she was cut off as he grabbed her by the waist and pulled her in for a kiss, which she returned. After they parted, he looked at her and said, I guess it's official this time, right? She just pouted, blushing, and nodded her head. Well, I guess we have to catch up with the others, he said, holding her hand as he began to walk in the direction they had gone. Wait, you're coming. Don't you want me to? He said, sounding a bit disappointed. No, I don't mind at all. I was just asking. They finally reached the 4 children, and she dispelled her clone. Seeing the 2 older teens coming back, hand in hand, they were happy. I guess you 2 are together now, huh? Congratulations, Sakura said as she hugged the girl. The other 3 did the same. Nii-san, are you coming with us? Yes, I am, little brother, he smiled at him. Say, Miley, what exactly are we looking for anyways? Sakura questioned. We are off on an adventure, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking for, drumroll please, the Sky Island, she yelled, punching the air. You can't be serious, can you? Does that even exist? Hinata asked. It certainly does. In fact, we found a map of the island. Oh, was it that paper you found when we were coming back from our C-rank mission? Suzuki asked. Yup, and we're going to find it. But you guys are also going to do your training in the meantime. This is gonna be one great adventure, Sakura said as she punched the sky. It sure is, Naruto smiled. What was in store for them was the greatest adventure they could ever have. Alright, you guys, this is our training plan, Miley said the next day as they finished breakfast in the inn they slept in. It'll take us about a month to reach Kiri, and I want you prepared by then. Why are we going to Kiri? Suzuki asked. To help in the civil war. I know it might be brutal, but this is a real-life experience that could greatly benefit you all. Besides, we have another reason for going there. Which is? Naruto said, motioning for her to continue. Well, if we help in the civil war and defeat the current Mizukage, then we could negotiate to stay in their borders without being attacked. From what I could gather from the scrolls and map, the Sky Island is somewhere in that nation, and we don't want people finding out what we're looking for. They nodded, as it made sense, and then packed their things and took to the road. As they were walking, Miley led them into a cave. Why are we going inside a cave? Hinata asked. There's a secret training ground that belongs to the league here. Let me just unlock it. She bit her thumb and splattered the blood on the wall. The rock then moved, and sure enough, they came face to face with a training ground. We'll be training here for about 2 weeks. Itachi, I don't know your clan's fighting style, so you could work with Suzuki on that and the Sharingan. He nodded, and then she looked at Suzuki. Suzuki, I know the Sharingan is an incredible asset to you, but I don't want you to rely on it. Make it like a last resort, alright? He nodded, and the two went to train. She then turned her attention to Naruto and Hinata. Hinata, I want you and Naruto to work on medical ninjutsu. Naruto, that's your weak point, and Hinata has a better understanding. If you get stuck, then come ask me for anything, alright, even if it's something you're not sure of. They nodded and began their training. Turning to Sakura now, she said, Sakura, I've trained you a lesser amount of time than the others, so I'll try to bring you up to their level. I'll be teaching you medical ninjutsu and combat skills. As a medic, you are required to defend your patients or others who are in a life-threatening situation. They all put their trust in you, so you can't let them down, understood? Then they began. Konoha, 1 week later. Naruko Namikaze was sitting in her father's office along with her parents and godparents. Naruko, do you know why you were called? Minato asked. No, she replied, honestly not knowing. Well, Jiraiya here offered to take you on a training trip for the next 3 years. Yeah, kiddo, I'll teach you a lot more cool jutsus and... Can you make me stronger than that girl? She said with venom. It was known to them that Naruko hated Miley with a passion, saying that she stole her brother from her. No, I don't think any training would get any one of us here stronger than her, Jiraiya said, shocking them all. What do you mean? Dad is the Hokage, Mom is the best kunoichi, and you and Bachan are Sunin. Are you saying that she's stronger than all of you? Yes, it's true, Tsunade spoke up. That girl is someone you don't want to have as an enemy. While she was still in the house, she still lives there even though Miley and Naruto left. She told me that she was trained by her father from a young age. She was trained to kill without a moment's hesitation, and seeing that she was training them, I think that those children will also be just like her. If so, then the Leaf will be one of the most feared villages ever seen. She turned to Naruko, I honestly don't see why you hate her so much. She's actually a sweet girl that's quite easy to talk to. Wow, Tsunade liking a person and giving out compliments. What next? The end of the world, Jiraiya said, getting a punch from her as they all laughed. You're still living there, huh? You could live with us, you know. It must be lonely there, Kushina spoke up. I have Shizune. Besides, why would I want to leave? My meals are always cooked, with whatever dish I want, and to say they're delicious is an understatement. The house is always clean, the garden watered, and the backyard is so refreshing. The house itself is amazing. Nope, sorry, I like where I'm staying. Besides, a house where only Shizune and I are allowed? Talk about loving privacy, she said, smirking. Anyways, do you want to go? Minato said. Yes, I'm going. We'll just see who gets stronger, me or one of her students. I'll make sure to beat them down so bad and humiliate her in front of everyone, she said with a fire burning in her eyes. Everyone's sweat dropped at this but believed that she could be able to take one of the girl's students down, everyone except Tsunade. She is gonna have the surprise of a lifetime, she thought. 2 weeks later, with the group. Alright, that's a wrap. We're heading out now, Miley said. Over the 2 weeks, they each managed to improve quite well. Suzuki was trained by his brother, who was a known prodigy in the use of the Sharingan. Naruto and Hinata spent their time learning and helping one another with medical ninjutsu and just enjoying each other's company. But the greatest improvement was Sakura. The girl was now easily low jounin with her chakra reserves and Haichu Yunin in combat. Her medical ninjutsu is what she had greatly improved in the most, though. Where are we going now, Nei-chan? Naruto asked. We're going to help the Kiri rebels now. From what I could gather, their leader is a woman named Mei Terumi. I've heard of her, Itachi spoke up. She's willing to have anyone join them in the war. It's said that she'll more than likely be the new Mizukage after the war. Right, and I told her that we were gonna help her. She accepted and is waiting for us to come. Let's go. 2 weeks later, they had finally reached the rebels' base. On their way, they encountered bandits and slave dealers, saving a large number of people. Hello, Miley Al Ghul, was it? The one who sent me the letter, a woman with auburn hair said. This earned her a lot of gasps, as everyone knew who Miles was. Yup, that's me. Mei Terumi, I presume? It's an honor to meet you, she said, extending her hand, which Mei took. And I believe that these are the others that will help? I think we need to talk about our agreement a bit more. They went inside one of the larger tents and discussed their agreements, which were relatively simple in Mei's view. Same time, Kanaha. Hello there, Mikato, Hitomi Hayuaga greeted her longtime friend as she saw her in the market. Oh, hey there, Hitomi. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yes, it has. It's a bit lonely now since Hineda's departure. You know, I've always wanted to ask, how did you get Hayashi to agree to let her go for 3 years? I believe he thinks she's fit now to be the heiress after beating the prodigy and being promoted. Now, that's a story, my dear friend, she said, laughing as she told her what had happened. Flashback, 2 days after departure. Hitomi, Hayashi was looking for his wife for an urgent matter. I'm right here, she called, her voice coming from the garden. I should have known she was going to be there. It was a known fact to every Hyuga and maybe a couple of others that his wife loved to garden. It was the main reason that they had one in the first place. Hitomi, I keep hearing that Hineda left. Is that true? Oh, Hineda. Yes, she did leave to complete her training. She, along with 3 other children, left with Miley for about 3 years, she said, not looking up, as if it were the most normal thing to say. What? Why didn't you stop her? She's the heiress of the Hyuga clan. She has to be here. I'm going to go get her back, he said, but was stopped by his wife. No, you will not. And why is that? He looked at her as if she was crazy. Because Hineda grew to become a strong and confident woman, no thanks to you, she glared at him as he remembered his failure. She found someone that she could rely on, someone that would never give up on her, and someone that gave her confidence, a sense of accomplishment. Hineda will return in 3 years' time, and you, Hayashi Hyuga, will not send anyone to look for her or get her back. Do I make myself clear? She said in a serious and threatening tone. Now, Hayashi Hyuga was known as a proud and emotionless man, but when it came to his wife, he was as terrified as any other man was of their wife. So he just nodded weakly and walked away. End of flashback. Haha, Hayashi can't do anything now, Mikato laughed. No, he can't. I can't wait to see their end results. Being trained by someone like Miley is certain to bring results. How did your husband take it? I don't believe I saw your eldest now that I think about it. Oh, Itaki went with them. He and Miley started dating. Squeal, I can't wait until I have grandkids, her friend just chuckled. Well, I'm glad that they finally got together. I remember how he would always scare all the boys that came near him. I honestly don't think he did it intentionally. I don't think so either. Anyways, Fugaku was actually thrilled at the idea of her training Suzuki. Suzuki was never trained by him, so I saw the bit of improvement he had when she trained him for a couple of months before the exams. They continued talking about their children and other things but had one thing on their minds. When they come back, they'll be on a completely other level. 2 weeks later, in Kiri. It's been a couple of days since the defeat of Yagura, the corrupted Mizukage and Three Tails Jinchuriki, at the hands of Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. The people of Kiri were finally free, and they were showing it by celebrating their newfound freedom. Our Konoha group were seen as heroes in the village hidden in the mist. They helped out greatly in the war, which, true to her word, gave them some real-life experience. Suzuki actually managed to gain his Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing the deaths of his fellow rebels, whom he grew to respect. Now they were standing inside the Mizukage's office, in front of the new Mizukage, Mei Terumi. Well, you already know that I can't thank the 6 of you enough for your help in the war. We couldn't have won so fast without your help, she smiled. Thanks to the females in the group, there was a reduced number of casualties, due to their advanced medical skills. No problem, Mizukage-sama. We were glad to help, Miley said. The meeting was about to begin in the council room. The shinobi side watched the newly arrived group with immense pride, knowing they represented the best of their generation. The civilian side, however, began to scheme, seeing the powerful young ninja as tools for their own gain. The meeting shall now commence, Tsunade announced. I only have one question, Inoichi said. How? How what? Miley shot back. How are we a mysterious SS rank group, or how are we so awesomely strong? Both. Well, Miley began, I said I'd train them, and that's exactly what I did. They're proficient in every ninja subject, including medical ninjutsu. She glared at Naruto and Suzuki, who looked away. Hey, it's not our fault we prefer beating people up to healing them, Suzuki protested. Sakura smacked him on the head. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Think before you speak, she said, her glare daring Naruto to say anything similar. Sakura and Hineda are both quite skilled in medical ninjutsu, with Sakura being exceptional, Itaki interjected. The boys are highly efficient in ninjutsu and taijutsu. They were all also trained in kenjutsu and are quite competent. It said you helped in the Kiri Civil War, Hayashi said. Why? I believe they sent an alliance treaty, didn't they? Tsunade nodded. We went because we were looking for something in their territory. Helping them gave us free access. Besides, I thought it would give them some real-world experience, and I'm incredibly proud of them all. She smiled at the four, a gesture they all deeply cherished. Oh, Granny, Naruto said. Did Danzo escape? Yes, but how do you know? We ran into him during our time away, Hinata replied. He was really angry at Miley and Itaki. Where is he now? Choza asked. Dead, the six said in unison. We killed him. He wasn't much of a threat, Suzuki said nonchalantly. A heavy silence filled the room. So, I suppose that's all? Tsunade broke the silence. This meeting is adjourned. The six of you, to my office. Once they were in her office, Tsunade asked, so, does the island exist? She tried to hide her excitement. Yes, it does. Miley confirmed. We were there for about 7 months. We even got some extra training in. The high altitude was great for breathing and fighting with less oxygen, but we'll tell you everything at home. You still live there, right? I'd be crazy to ever leave, Tsunade said. Good, because everyone is coming over for a feast. We'll tell you all the details then. You better be there. You brats. It's good to have you back. Thank you, Lady Tsunade. I was wondering if I could work at the hospital, Sakura asked. Of course. If Miley says you're as good as you are, you can start after you've rested. Hinata, would you like to work there as well? Yes, Lady Tsunade, but only after I become clan head, Hinata replied with a mischievous grin. Tsunade nodded knowingly. What about the four of you? I want to get into Umbu. You with me? Naruto asked Suzuki, who readily agreed. Their rivalry had matured into a strong friendship over the years. Umbu is quite dangerous. Are you boys sure? Hey, we are the dangerous ones, aren't we? Suzuki said, slinging an arm around Naruto, and they both grinned. What are they talking about? Tsunade asked Itaki. These two idiots took on an army of Otonin and killed every single one of them by themselves, Sakura said. They literally blew up half the army. You have to admit, it was hilarious. Miley said, laughing. I don't quite see what's so funny about blowing people up, Itaki remarked, but Miley didn't hear him as the two boys joined her in laughter. You better hope your fiancé doesn't blow you up, Itaki, Hinata whispered. I honestly don't want to think about that. Anyways, I heard about the engagement. More like I saw it. Congrats, Tsunade said once the three had calmed down. Aw, thank you, Tsunade. Alright, everyone, it's time to go home and rest. Naruto, I think you have someone you need to meet soon. As they left, Tsunade realized she never asked what Itaki and Miley would do. I'll just ask them later, she decided, and returned to her paperwork. At the Hayaga compound, Hitomi Hayaga, her youngest daughter Hanabi, and her husband waited for Hinata's return. The entire compound was proud of her accomplishments. When Hinata arrived, her mother and sister hugged her tightly, and her father gave her a nod of recognition. The stoic Hayashi never showed his emotions, but his heart swelled with pride. To everyone's shock, Hinata went to him and gave him a big, warm hug. He didn't know what to do at first but eventually hugged her back. That, dear father, is called a hug. We'll be doing it more often, so be prepared, she said, patting his head like a child, much to the amusement of her mother and sister. Hinata, I hope you're doing well. We missed you so much, her mother said. Look at you, such a beautiful young woman. I bet Naruto is lucky to have you. I hope you two are still together. Yes, mother. Speaking of which, we've all been invited to Miley's house for dinner. We've had such a great time these past 3 years. Nei-chan, can you tell me some of those stories? Hanabi asked. Of course, Imuto. I believe you'll be graduating soon? Yup. Let's get you inside. The three of them went in, leaving Hayashi standing alone, stuck to the ground in shock from his daughter's actions. Mom, Dad, I'm home, Sakura yelled. Immediately, she heard a stampede of footsteps as her parents rushed down the stairs. Sakura, my baby girl, we missed you so much, her mother cried, squeezing her tightly. Mom, I see can't be breathe. Oh, sorry, honey, I'm just so glad you're home. We're so proud of you, part of an SS rank group. Miley must have been a great teacher. She was, Mom. I'm glad she was my teacher. We had so much fun, too. We went to beaches, bought the latest clothes, everything. Speaking of which, I better get my things to my room. Where is your luggage, dear? Her father asked. It's all in these scrolls, she said, pulling them out of her pockets. Oh, by the way, Mom and Dad, we're invited to dinner at Miley's place. Don't forget. I'm going to get some rest. Sakura, now that you're a great ninja, why don't you get a boyfriend? Her mother asked. Already have one, Sakura said, heading up the stairs and leaving her parents to wonder who it could be. Welcome back, boys, Mikato said, hugging both of her sons as they arrived at the Uchiha compound. All the other Uchihas were there, looking at them with pride. Even Fugaku was there with a rare smile, causing some members to back away, thinking something was wrong with him. They all agreed that their leader never smiled. Thanks, Mom. I'm going inside to unpack and then sleep. I'm too tired, Suzuki said as he left. So, Itake, when did you propose? Mikato asked coyly. Proposed? What are you talking about? Fugaku said. I have a fiancé, but we haven't set a date. We're content with how things are for now, and this person is Miley Al Ghul. Seeing that his father and the other Uchihas were just staring at him, he continued, you know, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Yes, of course, I know who she is. But how did you get her to marry you? Fugaku said, still in shock that his son was engaged to the daughter of the most feared shinobi of their time. I thought it was normal to ask your girlfriend for her hand in marriage, Itake replied as if his father had asked the most ridiculous question. Never mind him. You, young man, are going to tell me everything. So, where did you propose? Mikato pressed. On the Sky Island, he replied casually. Oh, by the way, we've been invited to dinner at Miley's house. Everything will be explained there, with the other families. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to unpack and rest. He left, leaving a very confused group of Uchihas. Going upstairs, he saw his brother smiling at him. You love confusing people, don't you? That, little brother, is something I take great pride in. Naruto sat at the ramen stand, eating. He just had a great talk with the old man and his daughter. He sensed Kushina's chakra and prepared himself. He turned around to see her looking just as nervous. He smiled and pulled out a seat for her. Hey, old man, order for one, he yelled. The chef came out, a bit shocked at what he saw, but went back to cooking. Hello, Kushina, the usual? Yes, please. Thank you. They sat in silence for a while. Okay, this is kind of awkward. How have you been these past 3 years? Naruto asked. I was fine, thank you. The village is almost at war, but I think you already know that. Yeah, you know, we went and helped in the Kiri Civil War. I saw people die, and the battlefield is something I'll never forget. War? You fought in a war? Why would you do that at such a young age? It usually scars people for life. Were you all right after that? She asked with genuine worry. He couldn't help but smile. Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks for asking, but I brought it up for a reason. When I saw people and families dying, I thought about the 3 of you. He paused and looked at her. I hated you, he said, and she flinched. He looked back at his ramen. I hated them, you, and the entire village, save for a few. When I first met Miley, I wanted to destroy this place. I wanted revenge. I wanted to kill every single person. He sighed. But over the years, I started not to really care. I had a sister, a family that cared about me, and a few friends. But when I saw families die in the Kiri War, I thought, what if that was my birth family? Would I regret not forgiving them? That's when I realized that no matter how much I want to deny it, there will always be a small part of me that wants to be loved by you. Tears welled up in her eyes as she hugged him. He gave in, hugging her back lightly. I said I would forgive them based on their reaction when we got home, and so far, you've been the only person who cared enough to ask how I was, and not about my strength. Did they talk to you? She asked, breaking the hug. No, but I could tell in their eyes that they were only wondering how strong I'd become, not about my well-being. I can't really call you mom right now, it'll feel a little weird, but it's all right. Thank you for giving me a chance. That's all I ever asked for, she smiled. He finished his ramen and got up. Oh, by the way, Miley is having a dinner get-together with the others and their families. Tsunade and Shizun will be there, too, since they practically live there. I was wondering if you wanted to come, he asked, awkwardly scratching the back of his head. I'd love to. What time should I be there? Around 8 p.m., yeah, that would be perfect. Okay, thank you for the invitation, she smiled. No problem, he said, walking away. He then stopped and turned around. Oh, one more thing, he said, and she looked up. Try to make sure the others don't come, please. It'll make the whole dinner awkward. She nodded, as she had ramen in her mouth, and he smiled as he walked away. It was now a few minutes before 8 p.m., and the families began to arrive at the beautiful house. They were all in shock, admiring its beauty, something they had never seen before. Shizun opened the door, holding Tantan. Welcome. I'm glad everyone could make it. This is a beautiful house. I've never seen anything like it, Mikato said as they came inside and looked around. Ah, I see our guests have arrived. Why don't we all go to the dining room and start dinner? Tsunade said, coming down the stairs. They all went to the dining room and sat down. The table was filled with dishes they had never seen, arranged beautifully. OMG, this looks so beautiful. Who made this? Hitomi asked. Miley did. She's quite the chef, Tsunade said proudly. Is there anything that girl can't do? Sakura's mother questioned in awe. Well, she was trained from a young age, Shizun replied. Just then, the doorbell rang. I'll go get it, Shizun said. I wonder who else is coming? Mikato wondered. It must be Kushina. Naruto invited her, giving her a chance, Tsunade said as she sat down. He has a good heart to do so, but what about the rest of them? Hitomi asked. He said they didn't care about his well-being and that Kushina was the only one who asked how he was, so it's just her. Kushina came in with Shizun. Please, have a seat. Miley and Naruto are both on their way, Tsunade said to them. Oh, Kushina. I'm so glad he gave you a chance, Mikato said, hugging her best friend before they sat down. I am, too, and I am not going to ruin it, she said with a determined smile. Just then, they heard yelling from upstairs. Miley, you have to wake up. You're the one who invited them. Of course, you have to be there. But I want to sleep. So leave my room before I do to you what I did to that bloody Umbu. But Miley, they'll be here any minute. Heck, they might be here now. Don't lie to me, brat. They'll come at 8 and only at 8. Does it look like it's 8 to you? Are you an idiot? Of course, it's 8. What time do you think it is? No, it's not. It's only. Holy shit, it's 8 p.m. Why the hell didn't you wake me up? Excuse me. You're the one who's been yelling death threats the entire time. The people in the dining room listened with amusement and laughter. She still doesn't like people waking her up, does she? Hitomi asked. Nope, and Suzuki here had to learn that the hard way, Sakura said, patting his head. Hey, it's not my fault she turned into a witch. You all knew and didn't tell me, he exclaimed. Only an idiot wouldn't know not to wake that girl up, Tsunade said. They heard more yelling, and Tsunade had enough. If you two don't shut up and get down here in the next 2 minutes, I'll make sure what I did to Jiraiya looks like child's play. Exactly 2 minutes later, Miley and Naruto came down. Hello. I'm really glad you all made it, Miley said as they both sat down. I think we can begin. I hope you enjoy it. Is she really going to pretend like nothing happened? They all thought. So, why don't you tell us what you all did during those 3 years? Hayashi asked. Well, for starters, I think you should know the real reason why I actually wanted to take them out, Miley said. There was a reason besides their training? Fugaku asked. Yup. You see, my brother and I sort of like looking for lost ancient civilizations, like their maps or territory or culture. So one day, we stumbled upon some scrolls that said there was a civilization that, instead of living on the ground like normal people, they lived in the sky. A sky island. Don't tell me you believed such a lie, Hayashi said. If it's such a lie, then why did we find it? Hinata smirked. Those who didn't know the truth had their eyes wide at the question. Anyways, Miley continued, we continued to search for any other information, but we didn't find any, until one day we found a map. A map to the island. But because the territories had changed over the years, it was hard to pinpoint. All we knew was that it was in the Water Nation's territory, which is why we helped in the Kiri Civil War, to gain permission into their territory. That was pretty smart, Fugaku smirked. Did he just? Miley began. Just continue with the story. We'll wonder why the Uchiha had almost smiled later, Naruto said, earning a giggle from Mikato and amused looks from the others. Is it a crime if I smile? He narrowed his eyes. If I may be so blunt, no, it's just damn creepy, Miley said with a serious face, and they all erupted in laughter. As the laughter died down, Kushina asked, how long did it take you to find its exact location? Oh, it wasn't hard at all. There were other pieces of information we picked up on the way that helped us, but I wanted them to be fully prepared, so we only went to the island this year, dedicating the other 2 to training and sightseeing. Let me tell you, that place is amazing. It was so different from our normal lands. There wasn't any dirt. Everything was made out of clouds. Sakura exclaimed. They had this cloud-making factory that produced different types of clouds. Like some that were hard for buildings and others for normal use, Hinata added. They had this contraption called a waver. That was what I liked best, Suzuki said. What does it do? Fugaku asked, a bit interested. It's like a boat, but you don't paddle it. You stand on it. It's only meant for one person and you press down on a pedal to make it move. I think it's better if we show them, but not now, Itaka said. Oh, that reminds me. We all got you souvenirs. We have them at home, Hinata said. Yes, Granny. We got something for you, Shizun and Kushina-san, so please stop glaring holes in me, Naruto said as Tsunade looked away. I was doing no such thing. Real mature, Granny, real mature, and they all laughed. By the way, Miley and Itaka, you didn't tell me what you two want to do, Tsunade asked. Well, I think I'll stay as a jonin, but not take on students, Itaka said. Okay, that's acceptable. What about you? Tsunade turned to Miley. Well, Hanabi, you're finishing the academy this year, right? Yeah, but remember, you said you'd train me, the little girl said. I did. I guess I'll be a jonin sensei, but only for the team Hanabi is on. I thought you didn't like teaching random people? Itaki asked. I don't, but I promised to teach Hanabi. Honestly, it's not that I have anything against it, but I have a feeling you're about to say something negative, so let's just forget it and enjoy the dinner party. Who's with me? Naruto said. They all cheered for no particular reason and dug in. The evening was over, and they all had a wonderful time. They said their goodbyes and went their separate ways. Thank you, the dinner was really delicious, Kushina said as she was about to leave. Well, if you want, Naruto is a great chef, so feel free to come over anytime, and he could teach you, Miley said, and Naruto just nodded in agreement. Then I'll take you up on that offer. Good night, she said, hugging them both before scurrying away. I feel like I did the right thing. You? Naruto asked. Yup, you did very youthfully fine, she said, imitating Guy's pose. Please, just, don't ever do that again, he said, a shiver going up his spine. Yeah, that just felt weird. Wanna watch a movie? Before Tsunade? Before Tsunade. And so they left to watch a movie before Tsunade could force them to watch romance movies. A month had passed since the six returned, and they had fit perfectly into their daily routines. The war that had threatened to occur was easily diffused once word got out that the SS rank group was from Konoha. Now, everything was peaceful. Naruto and Kushina had a thriving mother-son relationship. Their shared love for the sealing arts also helped, which was one of the reasons Naruto chose Uzumaki as his surname. They began constructing a variety of seals, from storage seals with limitless space to the popular anti-rape seal for kunoichi. Kushina was so glad that her son had finally accepted her and given her a chance, and she showed it well. Naruto, despite his earlier denial, loved spending time with his mother because, like everyone else, a mother's love is the most desired. His relationship with Minato and Naruto hadn't really improved, but he could tolerate them on a civilized level. They, along with Jiraiya, kept asking him about his skills instead of his well-being, which was why he had refused them, unlike Kushina, who had been genuinely worried about him when he first arrived. They were now all gathered at the Hyuga compound, along with the rest of the Hyugas, to watch the match between Hinata and her father for the position of clan head. A member of the branch family announced that a match for the position of clan head would take place between Hinata Hyuga and Hayashi Hyuga. The branch family secretly supported Hinata. She had always treated them with respect, never using the cursed seal or demeaning them. Her desire to free them from the seal earned their loyalty, setting her apart from others. Yeah, go, Hinata, that's my girl. Wipe that ugly smirk off his face. Naruto yelled, while Sakura shouted, grind him into the floor, Hinata. Show him what you're made of. Miley added, beat the dude into a bloody pulp. Their cheers, along with the quiet support from the Uchiha brothers and Neji, visibly unnerved Hayashi. Hinata, in contrast, grew more confident, a bloodthirsty grin spreading across her face. This was a match he wouldn't soon forget. Hajime, the branch member shouted, and the two opponents launched into their Hyuga stances. The match was intense but brief. Hinata, an S-rank ninja for a reason, quickly gained the upper hand and emerged victorious. The crowd erupted in cheers. Naruto gave her a long, congratulatory kiss, which was only cut short when Neji intervened. With Naruto's help and his shadow clones, Hinata began to undo the branch family's seals. She made them promise not to seek revenge on the main house, but to work things out as a family. Just as they finished, the Hyuga elders, who arrived late, demanded the seals be restored. Unaware of the change in Hinata's demeanor, they were quickly put in their place. With a single finger tap, she shattered a nearby wall. If you try to undermine my authority again, you'll end up like that wall. Is that understood? She said darkly. The elders, terrified, nodded and retreated. Hayashi could only look on with a sense of pride, despite his loss. In the hospital, Sakura's medical skills were quickly gaining recognition, rivaling even Tsunade's. Highly respected by doctors and nurses, her presence dramatically increased the success rate of surgeries. She became a well-known celebrity in a short amount of time. Meanwhile, Naruto, Sasuke, and Miley made their way to the Hokage Tower. So boys, how's Umbu treating you guys? Miley asked. Having been in Umbu herself, she was familiar with its hardships, though her own experience was different. Umbu's pretty alright, Naruto replied. I thought it was gonna be hard and all, but nope, it's a breeze. Sasuke agreed, same here. I actually thought it was gonna be exciting, but it's really boring. Miley's sweat dropped at their nonchalant attitude. I'm going to see who's on my team, Miley said. I already know I have Hanabi, but I sorta wish I get my little cousin too. Sasuke knew who she meant. You mean Konohamaru? Miley nodded, yup. I am not going to leave my cousin in the hands of that closet pervert. Everyone knew how she once beat up Ebisu when he told Konohamaru not to hang out with her. They arrived at the Hokage Tower to find a crowd of people, including Tsunade, Kushina, Jiraiya, Minato, Naruto, Hinata, Sakura, and the Uchiha family. Isn't the room a bit too small for all these people? Miley said. Thank you so much for stating the obvious, Naruto replied sarcastically. You're right, Tsunade said. Let's go into the conference room next door. Once inside the larger room, Suzuki mumbled, much better. Hayashi agreed. Anyways, I called you all here because Naruto here wants to have a friendly spar with one of you, specifically you, Miley, Tsunade said, feeling guilty for allowing the one-sided match. Are you serious? Miley asked, shocked. Naruto taunted her, why, are you scared? Miley retorted, I was just wondering if you had a death wish, to die from humiliation. This earned a few snickers, which only angered Naruto more. I trained for the past 3 years to get my brother back from you and I won't back down just yet. Itaki, confused, whispered to Suzuki and Naruto, did I miss something? Suzuki explained, apparently Naruto has it in her mind that Miley used her Kekii Genkai to somehow brainwash Naruto into hating her and her family. Itaki pointed out, her Kekii Genkai can't even do that. Naruto added, try telling that to a deranged maniac that is hellbent on proving that wrong. Tsunade begged Miley, for the sake of not giving me any more headaches, please just battle the girl out in a training ground. Fugaku interjected, I don't want to sound rude, but was there a reason as to why we were called, besides the spoiled girl's tantrums? Miley mockingly shook her head and said, and to think he was smiling a month ago. Sakura added, such a shame. Mikato tried to calm her husband down. You're just proving their point, dear. Anyways, yes, there is a reason as to why all of you are here, Tsunade said excitedly. I received a letter from the Fire Daimyo and he requested the 6 of you to be a part of the Guardian Shinobi 12. There was a moment of silence as the group processed the information. Jiraiya spoke up, what about Naruto? Sorry, it just had their names on it, so I wanted you guys to make a decision now so I could send the letter. He needs a reply immediately. Another silence. Miley is not going. It was Itake who spoke, with a stoic and determined expression. Miley, who hadn't been paying attention, suddenly yelled, wait what? Why the hell can't I? Itake explained, you promised some children that you would train them, and if you did go then you would be breaking it. Miley considered this. Guess you're right, huh? You going? I wouldn't mind. She knew he really wanted to go. Being part of the daimyo's royal guards was the highest honor a shinobi could attain. Well, it would be an honor, but the duty is for a 3-year term. Miley smiled, well, I could always teleport to where you are, it won't be a problem. Besides, even when you return, I'll still be better than you. She stuck out her tongue playfully. Alright then, I guess I'm in, he said, and kissed her forehead. Well, I'm game, you? Naruto asked Suzuki. Maybe it'll be more fun than Umbu? Yeah, I guess I'm in. Kushina hugged Naruto. Be careful, alright, Sachi? He hugged her back and smiled. Don't worry, I'll be alright. This surprised many, as their relationship was just beginning to mend. Alright, 3 are going and 1 declined. What about you girls? Tsunade asked. Sakura responded, well, I'm just starting in the hospital and I'm more for a medical nin than combat, so I decline. Hinata said, I just became clan head and there are things I need to dissolve and patch up. I decline as well. Tsunade wrote down the responses and sent the letter. Alright then, we'll be moving to a training ground for the match between Naruto and Miley. Miley, eager to get it over with, asked, which one? Training ground number 7 is free, and before she could say anything else, Miley shoeshine out. So Itaki, mind telling us the real reason as to why you don't want Miley to go? Mikato asked with a smug look. Whatever do you mean, dear mother? Itake replied before shoeshining away. Once he was gone, Naruto and Suzuki began to laugh uncontrollably. Hitomi asked if they knew why. They nodded, still laughing. Please do enlighten us, Jiraiya said sarcastically, getting a glare from everyone. Hero, was all Suzuki said, and then Hinata and Sakura started laughing too. I really want to know what's so funny now, Minato said. Suzuki, still chuckling, explained, well, you see the Fire Daimyo has a grandson named Hero. We met him while we were traveling and he took an interest in Miley. The entire room erupted into laughter. Itaki Uchiha, jealous? Sakura's mom snickered. Not only that, but he almost used Amaterasu on the guy after he tried seducing her, Naruto said. Hinata added, sad part is, Miley didn't know about the advances and shrugged it off as something Itaki was going paranoid over. Poor guy is really afraid of Itaki, which made him feel a bit satisfied, Sakura said. I don't think he'll ever be satisfied as long as he's alive, Suzuki finished. Enough chit-chat, we have a match to go to. I think we left those 2 lovebirds alone for long enough now, Tsunade said as they all headed to the training ground. The match began and ended in a second. Those who knew Miley weren't surprised, but those who underestimated her, like Minato and Jiraiya, were in complete shock. One moment, they heard begin, and the next, Naruto was unconscious on the floor. Fugaku was drooling over the power Miley could bring to the clan if she married Itake, but his thoughts were erased when he saw his son looking at him with a furious expression and his EMS blazing. Itake and Suzuki had switched eyes during the 3 years. Mikato was giving him an evil glare as well, so he decided that Miley was off limits completely. Alright then, now that this foolish thing is over, I need to know who my students are, Tsunade, Miley said. Right, let's go back and talk inside the office. You three, she said, looking at the boys, have only today, you leave tomorrow. The families went their separate ways until only Naruto, Kushina, Jiraiya, and a now conscious Naruto remained. Well, I better go pack, Naruto said, but Naruto stopped him. Naru and I, please wait. Please give us a chance. You gave Kaa-san one, why can't you give us, she pleaded. The others wondered the same thing. Let me ask you something, Naruto, and this goes for the both of you as well, Naruto said, addressing Minato and Jiraiya. When I came back, what did you ask me about? They looked at him in confusion. If you got strong and how strong you were. We wanted to know, Jiraiya said, not understanding the problem. Kushina, however, understood and was furious. Are you trying to tell me the first things that came out of your mouths was about his skills, she yelled. Kushina, what's the matter? We were only curious. Minato said. Haven't you asked him once how he was? He was gone, on the road for 3 years. Weren't you people worried if he ran into trouble, or if he got hurt? Naruto was surprised by his mother's defense of him. He knew then that he had made the right choice in forgiving her. The other three, however, just realized how screwed they were. They hadn't once considered his well-being. See, come on, Kushina. He was obviously alright. Bad move, Jiraiya. Oh? Why don't you be so kind and tell me how you knew, considering that you don't know anything about him and didn't even bother to ask? Kushina said sarcastically, her hair rising. They had no reply. Well, that was pretty much what I was going to say, so if you don't have a reply, then forget it, Naruto said, turning to leave again. Are you going to come over tonight? He asked Kushina. Why don't we go now? She said, slinging her arm through his. Since you're going to be leaving, then we need to do some shopping, she yelled, dragging him towards the market. He could only groan at the torture he was about to endure. At the Uchiha district, Mikoto began their last family dinner in 3 years. So Itaki, I heard Hiro was going to dash. She was cut off when Itaki's Sharingan shifted to the EMS. Mother, I would advise you to not finish that sentence. But Itaki, your gel dash. She was cut off by Itaki's intimidating stare. He smiled as he stabbed a piece of meat on his plate, daring her to say the word. She shut up, frightened. Even Fugaku, who was about to make a jab, clammed up immediately. The next day, Naruto woke up, his body aching from the shopping spree with his mother. He got up, dressed, and went downstairs to find Miley, Tsunade, and Shizune eating breakfast. Lucky you woke up now, your breakfast is right here, Miley said, pointing to a plate of food beside her. Thanks, he said, and began to eat. So, you excited for today? Shizune asked. Yeah, being a part of the Royal Guards is actually a great honor, Naruto said. You got that right. In our entire village, I only know of Asuma who actually accepted it, Tsunade said. Yeah, the others just decline, although there aren't that many to begin with, Miley added. As they walked to the gates, Naruto asked, say, Miley, who's a part of your team? This year is actually lucky, you see. There were unequal amounts of students, so I get 4. Konohamaru and his 2 friends, along with Hanabi. Isn't that great? She exclaimed. Yeah, it sure is, he said. Looking at her, he added softly, I'm going to miss you the most, Miley. He had never been separated from her since they met, and he couldn't imagine his life without her. She had been the one to pick up the pieces of his shattered life and help him start anew. I'll miss you too, brother. But don't worry, we'll see one another again. She had similar thoughts, remembering the boy who had been consumed by hate and anger, and now seeing the strong brother he had become. Suzuki, Itaki, and everyone from the office yesterday were all there, except Hayashi. Sakura said her goodbyes to Suzuki, Hinata to Naruto, and Miley to Itaki. Family members were also saying their goodbyes, though Minato and Naruto weren't having much luck. Alright guys, I think we should get going now. We want to be there by evening, Itaka said. Suzuki joined him, and Kushina hugged Naruto. Please be safe, okay Sachi? Say that you'll be fine and come back. I promise I'll come back. I promise, Kaa-san, he finally said, giving her a tight hug. Kushina and the others who heard it couldn't believe it. Kushina, trying to hold back her tears, looked at his smiling face. I'll be back soon, Kaa-san, he said again. She cried and sobbed into his shoulder, unable to say anything. He had said the one word she had always wanted to hear, a title she didn't think she deserved. But her son had fully forgiven her, and she was too happy to care that she was a sobbing mess. She kept repeating, thank you over and over. Naruto looked at Minato and Naruto, and gave them a small smile. They ran over and engulfed them in a group hug. He stiffened at first but then relaxed. After a while, they broke away. Kaa-san, when I come back, let's see who'll be the better Sealmaster, okay? I won't lose to you, she said, smirking through her tears. Take care of her, okay, he said to Minato and Naruto, who nodded. Stay safe, Nii-san slash Sachi, they said together, and he nodded. See you guys in 3 years, Miley yelled as the boys finally departed out the gate. With one last wave, they were gone. Well, it was nice and all, but I need to go finish the Bane of all cage, Tsunade said as she left, and everyone else followed suit, except for Miley, who just stood there. She thought to herself, I guess this is the beginning of our new lives, huh?